Everybody please rise for the invocation. Right. And then after the prayer, just remain on your feet, and we'll go ahead and do the pledge. Lord, I give you thanks for this evening, Lord, this opportunity for us to gather here, Lord, as a town, as a community, try to do your will, and do what's best for the people, Lord, the residents here at Fort White. Pray that you be with us, that you guide us, Lord, that this meeting be productive, and ultimately, Father, that your name be glorified and that your will be done. And for everyone who's here, Lord, give them protection on the way back. For anyone who's not here yet, protect them, Lord, when they get here. And we give you thanks. Amen. All right, we'll call this meeting to order. We'll go ahead and do the I think we got some of the students here who will lead in the pledge. Is that right? All right. I'll go ahead and face the flag. And if you want to lead us, then we'll all follow you. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, let me see. Everyone else can go ahead and be seated.
Thank you.
Can I talk about proposal for the vote on that?
Appointment?
Yeah.
Lindsay? Okay. All right, I'll go ahead and do the roll call here. The mayor, I'm here. Council Member Terry?
Here.
Council Member Merrick's?
Here.
Council Member Kuhn?
Here.
And Town Attorney?
Here.
Here. Very well. Okay, we'll move on to additions, deletions, changes, and approval of this current agenda.
I would like to make some additions.
Okay.
I'd like for us to talk about Main Street. I'd like to have a guest speak. I don't know if he's out there somewhere. Yes, Glenn Hunter. He's got a lot of experience with grants and is willing to help us with grants. And that was already in the process with a lot of the previous council people and mayor, and it just got lost in all the campaigning and turnover and whatnot.
So have a presentation presentation?
Yeah, just a few minutes, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll make some comments.
Okay, great.
Okay, so if we add that, that'll be number 9. It would be is it about grants or Main Street or both, or like his presentation?
Both. Those are two separate things.
Oh.
So 9 and 10.
Y'all are doing the numbers, I'm just doing that.
Okay, so 9 can be the presentation. Grant, we'll do grant presentation. $10 would be, if we approve it, it would be Main Street.
And then I have one more.
Well, you got 9 as what there?
The grant presentation?
Grants, and 10 would be Main Street?
Yeah. I also recommend, I think, before we add too much, I think it might make sense. There's a couple other things that probably make sense to get taken care of in the next few weeks. It might make sense to have another meeting and then just slap all this extra stuff.
Actually, I'm glad you said that.
On that next
I would
meeting?
like to add scheduling a workshop or several workshops because we have so many important things coming up.
Okay. But let's
So add that, please.
get okay. I guess let's say this. Is everyone willing to? Is there anything pressing or urgent aside from what we have on this agenda that we want to discuss tonight as opposed to, say, in 2 or 3 weeks from now, having another town council meeting and putting it all on that?
Like a special meeting instead of a workshop?
Or we can just vote as to have another.
We definitely need to get on the attorney.
Right, I agree. So
So we can talk, we don't have to talk, we just need to set that up for the next meeting.
yeah, well,
Because our next regular meeting is our attorney's last meeting.
yeah. So that I propose that we have a meeting, even say that first Monday in April 7th, and a regularly scheduled town council. We can vote, have a town council meeting on the 7th, in addition to the other one we'll have in April. And then in that one, we add all these things to that agenda. That way we don't have another 3-hour-long meeting, and we can give it.
I'd like for my
Item
things
to
to be
time.
added tonight, and they're each very brief.
Okay. Councilman Kuhn, you got anything you want to add, and are you okay adding it for another?
For tonight, no, we can do it next meeting.
Okay.
I don't have one thing.
Okay.
We can do it next meeting.
Okay.
So what would the workshop be?
Yeah, so what else are you saying that you want, the workshop or?
Well, I think as a town, we need to sit down and have some goals. And as everyone know, or most of y'all know, with sunshine laws, we can't do, like, hey, Mayor, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? We have to all be in a collective environment to do it. So I think that's a big issue. I think money with sewage is a big issue. I like when I see people in the audience because it's going to affect them personally. I think the water's a big issue. And we can't get past a lot of this conflict to move forward to the real issues.
Okay,
So
so
you say a workshop.
A workshop's another meeting. It's just,
Workshop is
I'm just
something
making
we're
this
not
up. We
holding,
come
we're
back
just
Tuesday
discussing
night.
The future.
But I'm going to say again, while Glenn Hunter is here, I can't understand any reason whatsoever to delay his presentation.
okay, so and I think 2 items is reasonable, so we can go ahead and do that. And as far as a workshop, maybe we can leave voting on other workshops, maybe for council member comments, like at the end.
Yeah.
We get through all this, then we talk about
Yeah.
how we want
And
to do
we
that.
workshop,
Okay.
I'll just add this. I think you're a man who uses transparency quite often, and I'm not saying you're not transparent, but we need to know as a collective council what our future plans are. And I feel like you have not, and Monica hasn't, Bill hasn't, I'm the one who speaks all the time, so I have quite often what we want to do, what direction do we want to go, how is it going to affect the residents, how is it going to affect the community, because everything we do also affects the community.
Okay, so all right, so let's add that
understand what I'm
to.
saying?
I understand what you're saying. We'll leave the workshops and all that. We'll discuss that at council member comments. Aside from the grant presentation and the main street, discussing the main street. I don't know if Doug is here.
I seen him earlier.
Yeah, he is, Doug. Okay. Okay. Anything else for tonight? That's good? Okay. Then, so the floor is open for a motion to approve the agenda with items 9 and 10 added on.
Can I make that motion?
Yeah,
The
anybody.
agenda with the 2 changes.
Okay.
With 9 and 10.
Second. Okay, all in favor of approving the agenda with items 9? Well, as we've discussed, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. The agenda is approved. And then the approval of the meeting minutes. We have the January and the February minutes. We had to make corrections to the January minutes. Some of the motions were left out, but those corrections have been made. So as far as the approval of the minutes,
For which one?
we can do them one at a time. Okay, we'll do the January meeting minutes first.
I make a motion we approve the January 22nd meeting.
Okay, meeting minutes. Okay, is there a second?
I second.
All right, all in favor of approving the January town council meeting for January 20, I think it was 22nd, right? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Okay, we got those approved. And then same thing for the February meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve the February 17th minute.
Okay, is there a second?
A second.
Okay, all in favor of approving the February 17th minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed say nay. All right, good to go. We got that approved. Next, we'll move on to public comments. I got one card. Mr. Vega, you can go ahead and come, and then I'll see if anybody else has any other public comments to make.
Hello, my name is Alexander Vega, and I have just a quick comment on the whole situation that's gone over the past few months since the mayor's been elected, and more recently the appointment and stepping down of Dennis Rivera. I think the intention was to bring light about the process in which it was. You guys are going to be citing here today as well. But in the process, what we ended up doing was highlighting the process was flawed from the beginning, and Captain Terry's appointment was also not done in sunshine. Those ballots were secret ballots. They were announced at the end of the meeting, that they were tallied prior to, and those records are not. I asked for a copy of those ballots, and they don't exist. That's against Public Record Act. I think recently everyone has seen that she's kind of spiraled a little bit and has been attacking people, ourselves included. I don't know if she intended that we, or that the mayor vote for James just because James supported the mayor. And I think that's what we've been trying to go away from that, have more transparency. It's not, we're not gonna, you got my back, I got your back, I'm gonna get you in here. She went ahead and published a public conversation, a private conversation between Ruben and James, in which we stated our opposition to her agenda. I don't see why she would have done that, but then she went up and deleted that comment after it didn't go her way, and people told her to take those comments down. I think that she should follow in the footsteps of Dennis and step down as well, and follow the protocol that you guys are going to establish and make sure that she gets appointed correctly in the sunshine as she claims she is being. That's it.
Okay.
Mr. Vega, she's been here 9 months.
Yep.
Nobody contested her.
Yep.
At that point.
It was
At that point, nobody contested her.
Correct.
She's been here 9 months. I mean, we talked about it last meeting, we discussed it.
Yep.
And even our lawyers said nothing we can do about it.
Well, there is something you can do about it
No,
because
nothing we can do about it.
well, if it's filed a lawsuit, that's what I'm kind of saying, that maybe she should step down before it does get to that point where there is a lawsuit coming forward, because her appointment is not done in the Sunshine Law. And it was only brought up to light by her own doing in not wanting Dennis appointed.
If we would back up to where everybody was filed, we probably had to back up past where I was filed. And then we would have to disclose everything that we ever passed and just throw it out. Because everything's wrong.
So we're going to continue sweeping things under the
rug?
rug?
We're changing it. It was brought to our attention last week, and we're here to change it.
It was brought to the attention at the last meeting that Dennis was done incorrectly, and then yet
Dennis resigned.
I'll give you 1 more minute.
Dennis resigned.
Yeah.
Okay? Nobody, even the mayor, Bonnie, nobody threw him out. He resigned from that position. I don't know where else to go with it. I mean, he didn't. I mean, nobody said that he was put in there wrong. I mean, as far as admitting and making him step down,
Who said he wasn't done wrong?
Huh?
Who said he wasn't done wrong?
This board, when they put him in that seat,
When they put Dennis in the seat?
yes.
You and Catherine Terry stated
I did state
that he was done
I
he was
did.
done wrong.
I did, but
That those were
they
secret
stated
ballots.
not, and they put him in the seat, and he had the seat.
Correct.
Okay, we didn't, nobody took the seat from him because of what I said, or what Catherine said. He stepped down. So, I mean,
Good. Okay.
We're rehashing the
What-
same argument.
Yeah. So, okay, that's it. That's it. Time's up. Okay. Any other
thank you.
public comments? We got that. Oh, Mr. Castro, go ahead. Yep. Make sure you state your name too, please.
I'll do it,
Okay.
Ray.
Thank you.
My name is Steve Castro. I'm a resident of this area for 20 years now. Coming up in August, I've been here 20 years. I've looked at the Sunshine Law, okay, to see exactly what is it that you all cannot do. I think a lot of us are tired of seeing the inter-council bickering at these meetings. Nothing in the Sunshine Law prevents you all getting together and talking about Robert's Rule of Order, I think it's Robert, it might be somebody else, on how to conduct a formal meeting. But the animosity that you all exhibit to one another is just tearing us apart. Because we sit out there and go, well, hell, here we go again. You know, this guy's going to attack that guy, she's going to attack him, he's going to counter. You know, that's crazy. You all can have a meeting where you all just shoot the shit about how you want to conduct a meeting and be congenial in your meetings. You know, the Sunshine Law does not prevent that. The only thing Sunshine Law prevents is you all cannot sit together in some bar or out in some restaurant and talk about things that you have to approve as a council. Please, we need to get back to business. We need to get back to concern for one another. We don't need this bickering back and forth because it's tearing our little community apart.
Thank you, Mr. Castro. Dennis, I think I saw you first. Dennis, you can go ahead. You can go ahead first. Then I'll get you. You got the card? I'll take the card. Yeah. Thank you. Make sure you state your name up there, please.
Dennis Rivera. And, sir, I appreciate what you said. I agree with it. The reason why I need to stand up and acknowledge a couple of things. Alex, thank you for bringing up what you brought up. And I thought that this would be a done deal when I resigned. I did that because I figured, we just need to move on, right? And sir, when you said that, nobody kicked me off, Mr. Kuhn,
Yes, sir.
nobody kicked me off, you're right.
I agree.
But if you thought that I was going to sit at that table and listen to everybody, the way they were talking at me and the way they were disrespecting the mayor, who we voted for, in front, in public, I was not going to allow that to happen. And that's the reason why I resigned, because nobody stood up and said, hey, calm down, let's take it to another level, let's not disrespect the mayor that way, let's not disrespect Mr. Nobody got up and said anything like that, okay? They were just happy when I raised my hand and said, I'm going to take a seat and resign. And I think it's embarrassing that, people that have so much experience, that have been leading this town for so long, when you see something going, sideways, like you stand up and you say whatever, it gets on your mind, you should have said something. Somebody should have said something. That's not how we treat the mayor who was appointed here, in front of everybody. That's not the way it's done. And I can't see you arguing with me about that.
Are you looking at me like I did something wrong?
Yeah, I think you did. You were part of it. Yes, sir. You were.
Okay.
Because you stood there, you sat there, you said,
I said, that's not like the way he voted.
I'm still talking, sir. I'm still
The way
talking.
he voted, he did.
Mr. Kuhn, Councilman Kuhn, let him finish his comment. Let him finish.
You want to say something, comment after I get done, that's fine. Okay? But you should have said something, having the experience that you said that you've been appointed 3 times because nobody ran against you for 3 times. I think that's what you said.
I didn't say that.
Okay? You should have said something and not allowed what happened last week. So I resigned, okay? I resigned for that reason, because I didn't want that nonsense. And what happens when I resign? Every day since I resigned, Miss Terry, you have been posting at least twice, sometimes 3 times, maybe 4 times, Again, the video goes up again 3 or 4 times, all over different sites. Now you just got done saying, why are we rehashing it? Because we're pointing at you now. That's why we're rehashing it. You didn't let it go. It's been a week and every day, 3, 4, 5 posts of the same video goes up. The same video of what happened and what the mayor did. And, it's embarrassing. It's terrible. Again, we're sitting up here, nobody says anything about that. Right away, you jumped up and you went after Mr. Vera about, why he was saying what he was saying. But not one time did you say what she did was wrong. She was speaking so many times on behalf of the council, which I think is wrong also. So that's why I sent my paperwork back into the town, and if we're going to do this the right way, yes. And if I get in, I get in. If I don't, I don't. But I do believe, because you brought it up, not because she's sitting there for 9 months, we should have thought about that, before she opened up her mouth. But she went ahead and she didn't let it go this whole week. The video, on and on and on.
Mr. Rivera.
I got you. So, yes, I think you should step down. And I think you should go back in, like everybody else, like my intention. Go back in there and, do the scorecard, whatever you guys decide, however you guys want to do it. I think that's the right thing to do for the town if you really care that much.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Do we have any,
Lonnie Harrell, White Resident. First of all, I'd like to address the fact that the mayor brought the criticism on himself by his own actions. It was stated in many reports by the press and conversations with fellow townspeople that the mayor's actions were not transparent. They were not the actions of a godly man, which he continuously claims to be. And there was no integrity in that, what he did. So I made the complaint, not Ms. Terry, not Councilmember Kuhn. I was involved by the mayor's actions. And the night of the appointment, I left. It was done. I did my due diligence and did a public records request and discovered that he scored 3 white people zeros. Now, everybody here may not agree with that. You don't have to. I don't care. It's my feelings. I can feel
all right,
you can feel
let us speak.
But the fact that he scored the one Hispanic applicant and not the 3 whites can be interpreted as discrimination. So he brought that criticism on himself. The council members that looked at the complaint and saw that there was some concerns, called a meeting. It was asked for by the attorney, after motions were made, suggestions were made, this, that, and the other. The attorney said that the appointment was legal. It was done. Mr. Rivera resigned after that. Now, he did that on his own accord, for whatever reason, I don't care. But the process does start over today with the implementation of a process that was legal. Ms. Terry has done nothing to attack the collective guys. I've always heard her support and say, even with the former administration, the mayor and Connie, which Alex and Ruben say, I guess now I'm included in that category that are against them. I don't know how I'm against them. When they got here, I stopped over and talked to them when they were building the pole barn themselves. Me and my wife stopped and talked to them, had a nice conversation. So we're excited about it. We called over to our house to look at some windows that I had that I thought would fit my house or in great shape. Hey, would you like me to donate these to the collective? 7 or 8 windows that they could paint, hang up out there. We supported them. I went and spoke on behalf of the collective when nobody else would in front of the council. They thanked me for all that. I don't know where we went wrong, but now I guess I'm public or privately,
That
message
conversation
somebody?
we had outside later, outside this, that has nothing to do with it.
Okay. Anyhow, I'm just addressing the fact that you think Ms. Terry has an agenda.
I'll give you one more minute if you want.
Ms. Terry has done nothing but support the good for the town. She has not taken a stance against the collective. She's done her duty as a council person, and she's representing everyone. When the council sits up here and they look at whether or not something was done right, and it's in their face, and it says, okay, step 1, step 2. Okay, they did step 1, they didn't do 2. I can't vote to approve this. So, I don't know where this, but I agree with the gentleman who said we need to resolve this and move on. I agree with Miss Monica's, we need to quit doing things with feelings. I mean, we are people, everything we do. We're not robots. We have feelings about everything you do, but I think that they need to be more based on facts and not emotions, and move forward for the town of Fort White, the people of town of Fort White.
Thank you, Mr. Harrell. Do we have any other? Go ahead. And just state your name when you get up there, please.
Speaking for the public. My name is Greg Malzahn, and I am ran for the council seat. And somehow I got a 0 on a scale of 1 to 6. I don't even know how that's possible. But I've been a Fort White resident for 30 years. That's one. Last year I was in charge of 50 employees. That's pretty good experience as far as working with the public goes. I'm withdrawing my resume because I see I need to learn more by watching, gain more experience. And my vote is going to go. I mean, I don't have a vote, but I would love for somebody with some experience to be in that seat. That's what we need. So anyway, I was this close to owning an establishment in Fort White 2 weeks ago. The reason I did not buy that place is because I couldn't do my due diligence at all. The town of Fort White, I can't ask what I can do with this place. No one knows nothing. No one has any experience. They tell you to call Columbia County. So I call Columbia County. Columbia County says, it's in the town of Fort White. It's their ball. Call Fort White. We don't know. So that's where I'm at right now as far as, it's just a mess in Fort White right now. So I don't think I would help matters much by not being experienced, being on the, I think we need some experienced people with it. The second thing is, I think I have an idea for the voting system. I don't know if you have already determined it. I thought that's what this meeting was about. And the way that I keep hearing it still could be corrupted. Because if you do a point system, all it takes is 2 people to say, who are you voting for? You're giving him a 5, him a 4, or whatever. Y'all can work together, it could still be tainted. So I got this crazy idea. What if all the people that come to the meeting cast a vote for who they want to be in the city council seat? The odds of it being a tie are slim to none. But in the case that it is, just do the top 2. Another vote. Put it out 1 month ahead of time. We're having a vote 1 month from this day. 2 weeks ahead, we're having a vote. It's going to be here. Anybody interested in casting a vote for the council seat? Come to the meeting. It's the most democratic, easiest way to do it, and that's probably why it won't be done that way.
You have an extra minute if you want it. So you have an extra minute if you want it.
That's all I want to say.
Okay, do we have any other public comments? Oh, yes, go ahead, man.
My name is Alex. I'm sure you all know me. I've been up here before.
Last name?
Packard. Well, I give you credit for stepping up into a job that you know very little about, and I give you credit on some of the votes that you have put. You guys each have been in this seat for how long? Social media is a big thing, right? Social media is big with posting every meeting so people can come. However, your actions of posting on social media the way that you did, you are held to a higher standard than the rest of us are. Therefore, your words mean a lot more than it means to the rest of us. While the rest of us here, sitting in here, do not appreciate that, and a lot of us have screenshot that. A lot of us can sit there and go right back on social media and do the same thing. What difference would it make? Each of you have got to get along, and we've got to get along with the people of the town. Vote together, work together, because this is a big mess. All over social media, every single day, I see comments, I see posts about how this board is an absolute wreck. It's disgusting. The town is all over the state of Florida because of the way you guys sit there and discuss with one another, because it isn't a discussion, it's an argument. It's more of let's see who can gain what over what. A popularity contest. I'm better than you. I have more say than you. At the end of the day, we all bleed red. Either we can get along and work together, or step down and have somebody else come in here who's willing to work with one another. Because realistically, I agree with half the people in here. This is a shit show. So either we can grow the hell up and act like adults, or we can just get out and go on the playground and play with the kids until we learn to grow the hell up.
Thank you, ma'am. Any others? Nope. Okay, if we're done with the public comment portion, we'll go on to new business. Okay, number one, the town clerk role. So, we had a temp, Mrs. Michaud, and some of the progress that will come up, or lack of progress, I guess, on some of these other items on the agenda. She was the one really running point on, helping me push forward. You know, she resigned. I hope everyone had an opportunity to read her letter and what she wrote. I personally don't care what is said about me on social media. I don't have a Facebook. I know because people will occasionally send me a screenshot. And I'll give the attorney an opportunity here to weigh in a second, but publicly humiliating town staff, I think is just patently unacceptable by anyone up here. Who would ever want to work for this town? This is the third employee that we've had who has in writing said that it has been a hostile work environment. A lot of it with regard to social media. Again, what we say about one another is whatever. I don't care what's said about me. I don't have social media. I don't care. But what we say about our own employees, I think that we have to do something or agree to something so that we can hire someone and keep them. But, Mr. Lander, I'll let you, if you haven't.
I didn't see these, looks like two sort of letters that you put in the agenda packet, so I'm just getting a chance to look at them. And, it's pretty strongly worded, public record, and you can read it. I do think that because, she's alleging hostile workplace and all, you should certainly let our risk management know about that, so if there are any issues that come out of it, they have been put on notice. And I know it's on the agenda, role of town clerk. I spoke with Mr. Kuhn briefly before the meeting about this, You guys gotta find a clerk. I mean, if you look at the charter, and I brought it with me, you all have had access to this. Town of Fort White is very much dependent on the clerk. The clerk is basically the city manager. And we have been limping along since Mr. Keene left back in, I believe, January. And, it's extremely difficult to carry on the work of the town without a clerk who, has some knowledge and who wants to be here. And so I think that the board really needs to make a decision in the immediate future. Tonight, if you got someone who's qualified, who's made an application about hiring a new town clerk, you've got to have someone in here. And then you've got to both give them the tools to do their job and the grace to let them do it. And I think that's where you are.
All right, thank you. We'll give the insurance a heads up on that. Okay, so we have quite a few resumes here. Does anybody have any thoughts on the applicants? I'll leave it to that. Anyone on the council have any thoughts on the applicants who have applied so far here for the town clerk role? There's a couple who appear qualified.
Ones I look through nobody says anything knowing anything about a clerk position. And as Mr. Lender says, it takes a clerk to be a clerk. I don't know how long it would take to train one, but somebody's got to train one that knows what the clerk's position. I did not know what the clerk's position was till Connie left. Then I realized what all she was doing. So it's got to be somebody with a pretty good background, in my opinion. I don't know where we would get the training from.
What are your requirements for
Yeah.
the position?
And we can hold on. We'll deliberate amongst ourselves first.
Sir?
Yeah, and we can continue. We can keep waiting and keep not having a clerk,
I have a comment.
or we can hire someone here who has transferable, relevant experience, and just like what Brooke was doing, in there on-the-job training. Nothing that the clerk does is particularly rocket science. You just have to know who to call at the state. You have to know who to call. If it's county related at the county, you have to be able to read the land development code, communicate with the town planner. I mean, it's not like you don't need to go to medical school, but you need somebody who has some sort of related administrative experience. It is, in my opinion, related administrative experience, and who's willing to learn, I think, as opposed to just continuing to wait. Not in my opinion. Go ahead.
I spoke with Kelly, who, I don't know what her title is, but are you here somewhere, Kelly?
Yes.
She, in my opinion, has really been carrying the load. Brooke, which was no fault of her own, was sick quite often, and I said that in another meeting. And I suggested to Kelly, so I guess this is two things, that it be advertised in the League of Cities, Florida League of Cities. They do a free advertisement. The attorney position can be in there, as well as the town clerk, because that goes through the whole state of Florida. And if both parties agree, it might be worth a move for like an attorney or a clerk, because the payment would justify moving and doing a new job in a new place. I think Kelly has stepped up, and we've talked about what she's learned, and she was doing the grants or learning the ins and outs of the grants, and she's conquered QuickBooks. And if I have to say this, I nominate Kelly as our clerk, and then that might put us in the hole again as an assistant clerk, if that's what we're calling them. But we've invested in her. Ms. Merritt at one time commented about put all this investment into the individual, and then them being a temp, we not hire them. And my response to that was there's always going to be turnover.
Okay, for Mrs. Hold on. Mrs. Mrs. McPherson, I guess I don't know that you applied for the clerk role, or I remember, you can speak for yourself if you want, but last time we spoke, I think you said you'd rather, because of some of the heat that seems to be being drawn, you'd rather give it a second and learn before you took that on. Yeah.
For the assistant.
The heat's
So
going to
she-
pass. The town's going to either go forward or fold.
Yeah, I mean the heat, right, I'm talking about heat as far as public humiliation being spoken about in public. That's the kind of heat that it made her hesitant and is going to make anyone else hesitant. And even has now our public works employees uncomfortable. But so, yeah, and I agree. I work, hand in hand with Kelly. I like her as well, but I don't think she's really up for that right now. So if we want a clerk, again, Mrs. Marriage, I think you were going to say something earlier.
No, I was saying she didn't apply for the town clerk position. I think the best candidate we have right now is the Carrie Shaper.
Shaper, yeah.
According to her resume and her experience. So, if we had to choose, that would be who I propose to be the clerk.
Yeah, and I agree. And I spoke to her, and she has a lot. I think 20-something years that she did financial, bookkeeping, QuickBooks, quarterly filings, et cetera, et cetera. So I think she'd be a pretty good fit. That portion of the work she pretty much has down. For her, really, it'd be more just learning other things. If anybody has.
You might want to address the hands up and let us know if there's a point where we all can talk, or whether we should show them for hands.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that right now. I'm just keeping track of the time here. All right, I'll give y'all, if you raise your hand, I'm going to give you 30 seconds so we can try to move through this. I don't know who was first. You can go ahead.
A couple of things. Has the salary been determined, or did you just advertise this without a salary attached to it?
I don't know if there was a range. Oh, go ahead. Are you not done?
And I did review over the agenda packet, and I noticed that there was one person, and maybe the lady that you mentioned, Miss Monica, but there was one lady that was actually a city clerk in Gainesville, I believe. I didn't know that. But anyhow, so yeah, I did see some people with some very good qualifications. And then just to get clarification, I hear you keep saying public humiliation. Could you expound on that? I mean, I haven't seen any public humiliation myself.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah. So I'm not going to expound on that. If you haven't seen the public humiliation, then I guess you haven't seen it. But to answer your other questions, I don't recall exactly on the website if we put the pay range. I know when I spoke to the applicants, I told them the pay range. But so, yeah, go ahead, Mr. Baker, go ahead.
I was going to say the same thing that Lonnie just said. There was an applicant in the agenda packet. Last name is Williams, which was a clerk, so she's highly qualified. And two, to answer your question, back in May of 2021, I think there was the clerk's position detailed the assistant clerk's position and general labor's job description detailed. So those things already exist. You guys have to just go back and look them or email them to me.
Oh, yes, because it's been brought up twice. Michelle Williams. So I tried to get a hold of her, and I left her a voicemail, and I called her. Yeah, nothing. I don't know. Yes, I think her pay might even be on here.
It's $157,000.
$157,000 when she was. It looks like she's worth it. I mean, based on, she looks like she's worth it, but I don't know that we can. Exactly. So yeah. If we had it, we'd pay her. So, yeah, but I did reach out to her. I was like, hey, if she's willing to take 40, 45K, great. But she didn't even call back, so I don't blame her. Yeah, so, but, again, with we have what we have, right? We don't what we don't. I agree. I do think that Ms. Shaper does look pretty qualified, and the finance portion is a big portion of it, and she looks like she has that great experience when it comes to that. So I guess, does the council want to make a decision to get a clerk so we can start getting things approved and things moving here in the background, or do we want to continue to wait? I'm ready to vote. I like Mrs. Shaper good enough. I think with a little direction, she could figure it out just like Miss Michaud was figuring it out.
I think that the citizens are not realizing that we have a little, but we're requesting a lot. So getting a qualified clerk with experience with the little that we have is not realistic. So wanting us to go back to the board and get a clerk with experience that you don't have to train is unrealistic for the town right now. So I think we move forward with the best candidate and see where we go, because, as I said, we have a little, but we're expecting a lot, and it's not going to happen. So.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Councilman Kuhn, were you about to say something?
What was, you said you said something about you did tell somebody about the pay. What was the pay that you did put forward?
The range, I think it was the same thing that we had told the temp agency, which for the clerk position, I think it was anywhere from up to 20 an hour, 20-ish an hour, not 18, and I think it was 18 to 20. So,
okay,
yeah. So for that, we're not going to get this. We're not going to get Mrs. Williams.
What about the training?
For
training yourself and learning stuff, they need training in this position.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a town manager, pretty much.
Yeah.
Is what she is. Where can we go to get her partial training if we hire this lady here?
I guess our good old friends, the county.
Yeah. That or I think I think it's the Florida League of Cities that offers.
They offer some training.
I believe.
The last time we hired a consultant to come in, and Connie was pretty trained.
Yeah,
we still had a lot to do.
And
he still had a lot to learn. Connie did. I guess he was here a long time anyway.
Yeah, training her up and.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we can reach out. I know there was also some other city managers who Connie and Debbie were friendly with, who they would reach out, who were also willing to help. So some of them might be willing to come every once, once, twice a month to assist, or things like that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it is going to be doing the research.
Period?
I guess I'll ask the attorney, but I guess that would be up to us if there's a probation period. Yeah, so yeah.
I don't think you'd hire anyone just, okay, here it is, it's yours.
No, well, yeah, right. We have the onboarding policy. They got to do the drug test. They got to do the background check. They got to, assuming they pass all of that.
But still a probationary period.
I just come
we can vote.
month probation period.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Go that long or what? But I know most places got them these days in case something comes up and says, that just ain't working.
Yep. Yeah, some sort of probationary period where I guess if for whatever reason the council is dissatisfied,
well, what I'm saying
we can vote them out, I guess.
This phone number says she's not from around here, or hadn't been, sometime or another.
Yeah. But she does. Yeah. She does, yeah. She does. She lives around
I
here.
know him and moved to Atlanta 10 years, still had her number, but still.
And for Mr. Lander, how would we do that? We would just if for whatever reason the council was dissatisfied with them in the first 6 months, we would be able just to vote her sort of thing, or
Again, your charter, like some of these other things, isn't very,
It's vague.
is vague. But
I guess yes, sir.
the council has the authority to hire the clerk, and so, I agree, most jobs have a probationary period. I would communicate that to her in writing up front. I wouldn't do a whole lot of, the more writing you create, the more that could get you in trouble, but, you want to communicate that you're going to be on probation. And then if it doesn't work out, the council could remove them anytime. They serve at the pleasure of the council. But you need one. You really, 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 really need one. It's going to be very hard to operate as a town without a clerk, even if it's somebody who's having to learn as they go.
I agree. Okay, I think we have one. Go ahead, ma'am. I'll give you a little bit.
Yes, sir, I have some questions. I heard you talking in your February meeting about how much you were paying the clerks in the position right now that are temporary, that don't really have managerial experience that's required for actually running a town, like the attorney said, they're pretty much the manager of the town. And you're paying $24 an hour for those girls, and you were talking about maybe hiring one of them and training them, and then you gotta pay 30%, that's $60,000 a year right there, for somebody who has no experience with all this. And then you're talking about $100 an hour for someone to come in and train them on QuickBooks, which is very expensive to the town.
So let me answer your question. So the council made the decision to go through a temp agency. So what Kelly and Mrs. Michaud were being paid, there is a 50% markup that goes to the temp agency. So she's not getting 24 an hour. So that's that. The accountant is being hired really just to keep our books clean and just to have someone in there who's making sure the invoices and the bills are being paid. Because we had, if you remember the situation, we had no one, right? So there was nobody in town hall. So we weren't gonna, and we had to get someone in there. And so we did, with what we had, put the best qualified people in the pool that we had in there. They didn't really have a lot of QuickBooks experience. That's why we got an accountant. It was a matter of necessity. So
Considering hiring,
so
doing background checks, and
so that's what.
I just got
Yes,
one
ma'am.
point to make.
No, hold on. Wait. We got to move on with this meeting. If you got something to say outside of the public comment portion, I gave you your 30 seconds. So I just told Councilwoman Terry, because she brought it up, anybody who does get hired, there's a policy. They have to have a background check. They have to get drug tested, et cetera, et cetera. So that is part of the process.
Just checking, because another town
Yeah.
hired somebody who said they had experience down south, and they found out they didn't, and they lost all their grants, and the town's in like jeopardy now because they didn't do all the proper background checks.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Good point. And yes, we will.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So with the applicants that we have, do we pick? Yeah, exactly. Who do we want to pick? Who do we want to pick?
I make a motion to move forward with Ms. Carrie A. Shea.
On a probationary
On a
6 month
probationary 6 month.
status, whatever. Okay.
Now, when will she be able to sign checks and all of that? Is it after the 6 month probationary period? Like, when are we gonna release that to her?
That's a decision we can make.
Yeah, we can make. I mean, I think, and the attorney can correct me, but if we hire her as an official town clerk per the charter, she can do all that. I mean, so she would be able to do it from day one. I mean, Kelly, myself, and we'll make sure we steer her in the right direction, but.
I don't agree from day one.
So we can do with what within.
I mean, that's all these people's money that she's accounted for. So I think that there ought to be at least a 3 month or some kind of probation on that part.
Okay.
If she can't sign them checks.
For at least 30 days.
I mean,
she can't sign a check for at least the first 30 days, I guess.
This last girl was here over 30 days, and you see what we would have to go through right now. taking her off everything and putting somebody else back on it.
Right. Well, we have a backup. We have a backup on the accounts.
I understand that.
So it's not like, I mean.
But you gotta go pull her off of it, still.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's just.
I'm agreeing with the girl, but I'm agreeing at least 3 months on signing checks.
Yeah.
That's these people's money. I mean, if it was mine, different story. But you're spending the residents' money down there. You put her in a situation till she learns. She don't need to sign the checks, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and I think 3 months is a lot. I think it's a lot. I think within 30 days. She can get. But I guess I'll let Mrs. Marriage finish making her motion. It was a motion for Mrs. Shaper, 6-month probationary period. Go ahead.
A comment to put out for you guys to kind of, I think, answer some of these questions. You guys have a clear job description of expectations, like task A, B, C, D, E, F, right?
There's a job description.
If you put together a training plan for her, it does 2 things for her. Lets her be successful. It also lets you guys know when she's not making the mark or she needs help at. So that goes to when she can sign for checks is somewhere in that process. When she has shown competency to that point, we now turn on this new privileged task, or you want to say. But that's part of this whole probationary period, is that she or he is learning through the process. You guys are controlling the process because she reports to somebody. And somebody takes responsibility for her day in and day out success. Because
she technically, okay, so thank you. I got your point. Yeah, I mean, she reports to the council technically is how that works. But let's slap a time limit on there. I think 90 days is too much, but
She has powers that you wouldn't think the clerk does. That's why I'm very hesitant of this.
Oh no, but that's what I'm saying. Introduce it when she has satisfied all 4 of these.
I'm not talking about just signing checks. I'm talking about other stuff too. What she can write them for, how much she can write them for. She has a lot of power. I mean, she pretty much runs the town.
wait, so what? Hold on. Wait. So
For some,
2
but not all.
for check. Well, the checks are 2 signatures, but if she like puts something on the credit card or
There's some processes that she can do without.
yeah, like if she wants to.
Second thing, and that was, I don't know how the clerk got that much power. At some point.
Per the new charter. But all right, hold on. Everybody, so let's finish. See this motion. What we're going to do with this motion. So you say 90 days.
What I'm trying to get at is, I'm about like him. We need to ease her into this power. We don't need to say, well, we're going by our charter and resolutions that you're the town clerk now. Well, if you go back and dig up everything and start reading them, she has a lot of power. She could do a lot in a little bit of time if she was not right.
Okay, so
I mean, where do we go? I'm not disagreeing with the girl. I mean,
yeah. I hear you.
I think we need to do something to look after her full life.
To mitigate that. Mr. Lander, I mean, so if we hire a clerk, can we like
as she learns
pick and choose what they can and can't do?
You can't override what it says in the charter. Unless you a charter. Charter sets out her duty.
Right. So per the charter, there's certain. Right. It is what it is.
We made a resolution that she could get the clerk to spend money on everything without the council during the pandemic.
Yes, sir. I'm just saying that he was asking about her duties.
The duties.
The duties are described in the charter, which are a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, she's pretty much, runs town, runs the utility side of it, does the planning, zoning, coordinates with the county, does all those things. So you're going to have some trust, number one, in the person that you hire, and obviously you guys can't go down there and do all these things personally. And so you're going to have some trust in the person that you hire, and I think it's going to be next to impossible to hire somebody who could step into that job and do it on day one that you didn't have to pay, $100,000 a year. And so it's almost a given that whoever you hire is going to have to do some on-job learning, because it's there aren't a whole lot of town managers out there. I mean, there's a lot of towns in the state of Florida, but, that's still a pretty small group of people who know how to do that type of specific work.
Right.
And so there's going to be some on-the-job training. And so I think that, what you may do is worry yourself into inaction. And that's not good, because you've got to have a town clerk. The clerk, the charter defines what those duties are. Hire somebody that you trust. Let them do that job. You're going to have some oversight. You're going to have to have them report back to the council. And that's the best you can do. But doing nothing is not working either. Go ahead.
I'm reviewing this resume again as we speak, and her resume reflects a clerk as most of us know a clerk. When you're purchasing something at the Dollar General or a pair of jeans at Burdines or whatever, she's operating an electronic checkout system, which she has in parentheses a cash register. She's breaking down cardboard boxes. She's clicking to-go orders. And all that's important, but that's not the role of the...
You're tearing them down before they even get in
Yeah.
here.
But that's what we're here for.
Her skill says accounts payable,
So
accounts
everybody come to order.
accounts receivable, all these other things. You just chose to isolate the negative to pronounce it.
And so
I'm not isolating the negative. I'm
Yes, you
reading
did.
what her job responsibilities are.
so
She's
let-
a clerk at a commissary.
So let me
Along with multiple other things.
So let me chime in here. So I spoke to her. Her husband is not military, but he's a civilian that's employed by the DOD. They move around. She takes what roles she can take. If you look farther down her resume, you'll see that for 22 years, if you look on the second page, where she worked from September 2001 to November 2023, and even before that, you will see that she has very, very good experience. QuickBook, managing, what is it?
She was a staff accountant.
300 clients,
tax
accounting.
specialist.
Right. So, and again, to just pick one little part of her resume, if she were here, but anyway, Mrs. Mayor, you were in the middle, or Councilwoman Mayor, you were in the middle of a motion. We could do a 6 month. I think you said 6
Can I
month
ask one more question?
probationary period.
Can I ask one more question before you go with your
Yeah, go ahead.
motion? You just said you talked to her husband and he moves around.
I didn't speak to her husband.
Or you spoke to her.
Correct.
And you said he moves around. They move around. Are we gonna hire somebody in 6 months lose her?
So he used to move around. He's either retiring or he's taking his final job where he will retire here in the... All right, technically, if you want to get into it, I
I
believe...
mean, no, I just
yeah,
want to know
yeah.
what you was just.
No.
Asking this shit.
Yeah, if her husband was active duty military and I knew he was going to PCS in 2 weeks, no, I wouldn't do that. So yeah, this is their where they're here to stay.
Their destination.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Let's see if Councilwoman Mayer wants to finish her motion, and then we'll get to you.
I make a motion that we proceed with Ms. Carey, Schaefer with the 6 month probationary period.
Okay. Is there a second? I will second. All in favor of, for the sake of having a town clerk, even if just for a 6 month probationary period, moving forward with Mrs. Schaefer, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Very well. I'll call her. I'll notify her. I believe she said, I got to verify with her, but the soonest she could start is April, I think the 14th, and maybe the 21st, depending on, I guess she got something going on. But so either the 14th or April. Are we okay with just as soon as she's available, whether it be the 14th or the 21st of April? Okay. All right. Okay, let me get back on. Oh, sir.
My son works for EOD. He works all over the place. He's at Guam right now. O'Brien is his home. That's where he's at when he's not working somewhere else.
So that's probably what
That is home.
That's the place of this lady.
Yes, this is her home base.
Her
Yeah.
husband works for EOD. Doesn't mean she's traveling with him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And this is her home base. Okay. Quickly. Yeah. Quickly.
Okay, this is going to be quick. Just for food for thought, okay? Why don't you use the League of Cities? You talk about a probationary period and also when can you sign checks. You know, you got Mayo, you got a couple others, you got High Springs, you got Trenton. Why don't you talk to those people and say, do you have a new hire policy on new hires as far as those things that you're battling with? And then just see what's out there. The League of Cities, I mean, that's still in existence, isn't it?
It is. It is.
So why don't you pull the strings and, you know, it seems like you're trying to start everything from scratch on probationary periods and things. Pull those people and say, hey, I'm part of the new guy down here, help me.
Yeah. And yes, I agree. Good idea. And that's probably what I'll do because I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, because they got new hire procedures.
Okay. Good. All right. We got that. Second item. The assistant town clerk role. We have right now, everybody knows, I think most people know, Kelly, Mrs. McPherson. She's through the temp agency. Do we want to bring her on? Directly for the town directly as opposed to through the temp agency? That's what this item is about.
Yes.
Okay. So, if the council is good with it, or if there's, leave it open if any of the council members have questions. Okay, all right, so yeah, so the floor is open for a motion to make Mrs. McPherson.
Because I want y'all to,
Hang on.
Oh, go ahead, yes.
just so it's not, called out later, there may be a fee associated with that.
There is a fee.
Okay, so you better.
Yeah, there's a fee. The fee was, depending on when she starts, don't quote me, but for her, I believe, if she starts April 1st, which I don't think it would be the 1st, because there's a formal onboarding process. So say if we start her, whatever, 2nd or 3rd week in April, I think right around 2,000-ish, I believe, which if you do the math with the markup that we're paying the temp agency from that point in time to, I guess the payoff will be within a few months it would have paid itself off. Right, is what I'm saying. Based on the markup that we're paying for the temp agency. So, yeah. There's a fee in the long run that'll save money is what I'm saying, as far as her no longer being with the temp agency. All right, floor is open for a motion for Mrs. McPherson, whether or not we want to bring her on full-time for directly with the town.
I'd make a motion to move Kelly Pearson to the assistant town clerk position full-time.
A second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed say nay. All right, congratulations, Mrs. McPherson. Item 3, the State Science and Engineering Fair. I think it's a teacher. Is the teacher? I think it's a teacher. Is he here? I know he was requesting. I'll tell you what he was requesting. No. Okay. Basically, I think he's requesting a donation from the town council for the. And let me get there. Give me a second.
He did last year.
Here we go.
We
Okay.
had a group of STEM students, and we gave them $1,000.
Okay, here we go. So I forgot what the amount was. There is no amount. Okay, so yeah, there's no. What was it last year? 1,000-ish. Was 1,000? Councilwoman Terry, that we gave him last year? How much was it?
Yes.
1,000? Okay, yeah, so he's asking for that for he's a STEM teacher for 7th and 8th grade. You've mentioned before, Councilwoman Terry, where the last budget that we passed, we're already in the hole.
Yes. And that goes back, like that could be a workshop project. We need to come up with a policy to have an application for sponsorship from us or donation from us. And a dollar amount that is available. Because we have to have money in the pot to give it out. And I know last year, several times, and I don't know all the budgets, and I still don't see the budget. Is there a monthly budget report?
There's the balance sheet there.
Last year, several times, and again, I don't know if this was correct, if it's okay to do it, but the rent from the gun club was given as the donation money, the sponsorship money. And I don't know, in my mind, that's robbing Peter to pay Paul, but I don't know where that money goes.
Right.
If it's okay to do that. But there still has to be a policy.
I agree. I think if the town of Fort White is going to give out taxpayer dollars, full disclosure, to be honest, I don't think we should be giving out taxpayer money to charity. I think if people want to give their money to charity, they can do that, personally. But as far as this item here specifically right now, if we're going to give them, again, I don't recommend it, but the floor is open for a motion. If we want to just, or no motion, we could just proceed and not deny it. But so I guess I'll say, is there a motion, or is there any council member who wants to give them money?
I don't think
town
any money
money
should be given until a policy is made and that we're aware of where money what kitty that money comes from.
Okay.
And last year, that $1,000, and I don't have anything against the STEM Club or anybody wanting sponsorship, but that $1,000 was much higher than what I had witnessed in the past.
Okay, so we'll move on from that. And we'll move on to the next agenda item.
So we're just not doing nothing? I mean...
Yeah, he requested money. We're not giving him money. But, I mean, if you want to make a motion to deny his request, we can do that.
I'm not making a motion to deny his request, but I think just pushing it past and just moving forward when we have supported other endeavors in town, like the soccer people and all of this, that we just can't push past stuff and just say, oh, no, we're not doing it, at this time, we don't have the finances to do it, and I'm not against supporting charitable things, but to just push past it and say, no, I think Ms. Terry had a better idea of saying that there needs to be processes in place and we need to find out where the money is coming from in the budget, instead of just moving past it and saying, oh, you just said no.
Okay, so, I guess so.
Excuse me.
So what's the yeah.
I don't know, like I brought a plan for the voting. It may be the appointment. It may be accepted, it may be rejected. But maybe at next month's meeting or the workshop, we can bring a plan or a proposed policy for the donations. We've got to donate into the community, but we've got to have the money to donate.
Yeah. So
we've always donated to the school.
I think.
I don't know. I agree. We need a plan. I agree. It's changed. We're running in the red right now, and I agree with all that. But we have always donated to the school. We always tried to support the students at Fort White School. So.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, as far as not moving past it, is there what do you want to do?
Can we revisit it next month and maybe look at plan?
We have a plan?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Special meeting. Can we add that to the next special meeting?
I think if we're going to do a plan for how we get, everybody please, y'all come work. I think if we're, one second, Alex. If we're going to do a plan for how we choose to donate taxpayer dollars, that's going to require a workshop. That's got to be a policy. That's not an agenda item. I think that's a workshop item. I think. I don't think that's something we can discuss for 10 minutes and hammer out and get it done.
But to have an application process for donations and to say where the money's coming from, you gotta have a workshop.
No, to say what are the qualifications, who will we donate to, who won't we, how much, based on what, $10, $100, $500, based on what, is it going to be, you gave me 50, you gave me 100, just to make sure that we're clear, which is why I don't recommend it at all. But if the council wants to do it, I think I agree with Councilwoman Terry that needs to be a workshop. To me, it's not necessarily high priority, but we can do that.
In the past, and not every time, but I know yard sale profits were available in that kitty to give back to the community. When we have a yard sale, and that's really the only thing I've participated in that we brought in money. Santa, we didn't bring in any money. We say up front that money goes back into the community, because that's a question every time. Where's that money going? Where's that money going? So,
right, so I
don't know if that would qualify as a separate fund, because there's so many different funds, and I understand that. But I don't understand, and I don't know if y'all can answer from the county donations, but you've got to have so much in there, and you've got to say, okay, we've got $1,500, that's for the whole year. Get your applications in, or get your requests in, and meet these qualifications.
Right. If we were to do that, we'd need a policy, and we would have to have it allocated in the budget. No, I agree. What I'm saying is right here, right now, tonight, so that we can proceed with the meeting. Because I moved on, and then I said, hey, so what do we want to do? Do we want to make a motion, or we want to move on? And then at another point, request a workshop meeting, or. Are we okay to move on, I guess, or are we?
I make a motion that we decline it due to our financial status right now, but we revisit a donation plan and process in the future.
I second it.
Okay, all right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carol, opposed, say nay. Okay, that is that. We are on, I think, go ahead, Mr. Roche. Yeah, the sewage update.
Good evening, Brian Roche with North Florida Professional Services. We're a firm based out of Lake City, about 50 staff, technical folks. Mr. Greg Bailey is the principal here with me tonight too. And we have a small office in Jacksonville, Panama City. So we've been working on this water sewer project for over several years. I've been with the firm almost 2 years and been involved with Fort White since May of 23 when I first joined Greg's firm. And I'd be remiss not to say privileged to be here, because the first time at Fort White 50 years ago, going down the river, coming through here. So you got these great rivers here, the Chatati Santa Fe River, and the state very much supports those to be great rivers forever. And there was opportunity, I understand the history of this, and Greg or anyone else can correct me, it's a history that this project 3, 4, 5 years ago was kind of created. It wasn't just a project, it was really about a whole system to think about long-term over decades to improve the waterways here. And one of the ways to do it is to eliminate septic tanks. And it's a problem in Florida, where I came from in Duval County. They had, billion-dollar programs in the making. Maybe it goes $5 million one year, $10 million the next. So it's a decade-long challenge everywhere, or many places in Florida at least. So the project, my understanding, was originally initiated for the town went and got the money. Our firm helped support that. And it was a $5.2, $5.3 million grant, maybe about 3 years ago, was awarded. and then the county was, at the time, the county was, and still does operate, Mr. Kraus here, county manager, please correct me if I'm wrong, it operates the facility, the current work plant here, and the intent was to operate the wastewater plant. It's not just operate. The utility is a very complex organization. I had a boss in prior business when he first got into utility business 15, 20 years ago, and he said it's amazing. The utility does everything. It does bills, accounts payable, accounts receivable, technical, operation, construction, procurement. It's a full service company or operation, and so there's a lot to it. So we've been working on the design of it, and we are within a month we'll be 100% designed, ready to go to bid. That's from an engineer's perspective, but what we need is the engagement from the town, and the town's had challenges that over the last year with changes of personnel, and being small is a challenge in this. I think I came here 2 months ago in January, and also did a presentation to the Joint Utility Committee back in November 2023, and had financials that are out posted on the web. I showed one to Mr. Lonnie today where to find that. It's November 30th, 2023, Columbia County meeting calendar. It's all there, and I presented some of that last time here. So utilities, I think one thing to start off on, are not profitable. Almost every utility in the country is not profitable. Almost. Because there's 10,000 water sewer utilities in the country. And they're made to be cost recovery. So any sort of misconception that a utility is profitable, there are some, whether it's the big ones, whether it's Miami-Dade or Jacksonville JEA, and probably some in Northern Virginia I'm aware of, in Texas, that generate income beyond the cost to operate and maintain it, and they may distribute money back to a town or a city, similar to where the county was providing $25,000 a year to the town. But almost all of them not almost all of them, probably half the utilities in the country need counties or cities to fund it from the general fund to help support utilities. That's just the reality of it. My background, I'm an engineer, and that's why I work on this project. I do have a financial background, pretty significant one with utilities, many utilities. And just remember, they're not profit cost recovery. That's the intent. So that's a very important item to remember. Where we go here, there are several things that the town needs to do. They got to be able to engage, and engage is time, like you mentioned. You need staff, and it's a lot to this project. It's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $9 million to have 133 septic tanks removed, build a 50,000 gallon a day treatment plant. It has to be administered from easements. We work with over the last year, been working on easements. There's about 13, 14 different parcels that need easements to be acquired. Some of them are easy, like the ones the town owns. One or two are local, local customers or parcel owners that have been contacted that have said verbally over the last 6, 8, 12 months to town personnel that they're open to it. But that has to be executed and finalized. That's become a critical path item that needs to get done. I had a great discussion with the mayor after the meeting 4 or 5 weeks ago. The attorney we've talked to, Lindsay, and then when the change had happened, that's going to be a loss. Connie, the town clerk, was working on a lot with the prior mayor, during the summer and the fall. So some of just the reality of changing folks, kind of tougher because this is real. So where we go from here as a community, I like to move forward. Going left, right, who's operating, who this. I've certainly been fairly direct last meeting in saying that economy of scale is good for utilities to spread costs. I stay firm by that. I see it's going to be very challenging for the town to operate a utility. It's beyond operating a plant. A lot of times folks look at, hey, I can get a mechanic, I can get an operator out there, licensed operator, I can contract that. But again, utility is procurement, it's planning. If a new restaurant, a Subway type restaurant wants to come here, somebody needs to say where they connect. So you have to have engineering review. How you do your rate structures. All those things, it's a very complex business. So if the town wants to do it, We really can't wait anymore. We need the easements. We'll have a permit going for the DEP for the collection system, and then follow, probably within a week, that somebody needs to sign it, whether that be the town clerk or, I guess, somebody on this team here. And then we'll follow up on the plan. So several things that need action almost immediately to move forward. The funding of the project needs to be completed in by December 2026, so about 20 months from now. And it's a great thing. The state wants to provide funding for centralized water sewer, and but it's an opportunity that's been provided, and we're kind of on the edge of how to move forward. So I want to answer any questions from the council, the mayor, or whoever, how you'd like to handle it.
Yeah, I'll see if anybody here on the council has any questions, and then part of the reason, and then we'll get to if anyone out there has any questions. Anybody up here got questions for Mr. Roche? Go ahead.
Cost, just starting up. Full out, looking to me like, you said, I think you said last time there was 133 hookups on the first phase. 17 was vacant lots, if I remember right, or something like that. So that's down to somewhere around 115. More people turn it down, you're looking at around 100 lots. Can Full Light afford that without subsidizing, running that plant without subsidizing any more money from anywhere?
The quick answer is no. The longer answer is, I think an analogy would be what a representative that's out on public, even a larger system with several water wastewater together, maybe 4 times bigger than a wastewater plant, twice as big as water wastewater, cannot afford to operate and maintain the capital placement of the plant with projected revenues to have reasonable bills. Reasonable bills are around $100 a month for water sewer in Florida. If you want to double those bills, possibly it could be managed. I think the other part that's easy to grasp, it's about $10 million assets. So if you just take $10 million and divide by 30 with depreciation, is or 7 to 10 is $200,000 to $300,000 a year. The revenues of 30 to 40,000 gallons at $15 a gallon, which is the going rate around the state, do not need generate enough to do the capital replacement. So maybe reverse the order. We always think about, hey, can I operate? Can I put the gas in the car? Can I change the oil? Can I change the tire? That's the operation and maintenance. The real issue is, can you 4 or 5 years from now, the brakes go bad? Can you afford 7 years from now, it's time to go change out the timing belt or chain, whatever you got. And then 10 years from now, do you have money to do a major upgrade on your vehicle so it can last 15 or 20? So that is needed. And economy of scale works, helps, but you still need external funding. I mentioned to, like I said, I had a great conversation with the mayor. At different places do different. You see, the city of Atlanta, I forgot the acronym. It's a four-letter acronym. They do a sales tax, $250 million a year go from sales tax in Atlanta to fund this water service system. Just you can Google on it. I'm sorry, I forgot the acronym. $250 million a year. A city as large as Atlanta. Now, Atlanta has pipes underground deep, different than small town. So there's advantages here. There's also advantages there. And they're fortunate to have people passing through their great airport and they can generate a sales tax. So counties and towns funded from other sources quite often.
So after this first phase, how long before the second phase is it already talked about coming?
I'm going to change the terminology a little bit. We're calling this first phase is now a 50,000 gallon day plant and 133 connections. Of the 133, we defined it as Area 1 and Area 2. Area 1 was 79 parcels, and Area 2 would be 54, a total of 133. And the reason why we defined that, because last summer, one of our engineers and myself and the town clerk worked together in support of other folks we work with, went out and helped ask for a legislative grant, the $4.5 million? Started that way, to get an extra $4.5 million. And that became how to add on 54 more services. Part of it was needed too is when this first thing was created 3 years ago or so, costs have gone up in water wastewater. Everything has, construction in Florida. So the 5.2 million or 5.3 initial was going to probably be short, according to the estimates, to build the first 79 connections in the 50,000 gallon. So phase 1 is area 1, area 2, $9.8 million total. The state put it all together. They decided to put it all together. Any phase after that is just an idea. It's a concept. There's no funding for it. But on the positive side, in the summertime, there's 3 or 4 people from DP came to our office. I don't know if the prior mayor was present that day or not. He might have been. And certainly Connie, the town clerk, was. And they were very supportive of long-term future of trying to help, provide future grants in the Santa Fe and Kentucky Basin area. Because they want to get rid of the nitrogen in the rivers. Now, there's no guarantee. Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, no, you're good. Go ahead. Councilman McQueen, you got any other questions so we can...
Yeah. From my understanding, in the first 2 or 3 years, looks like you're in pretty good shape because everything new. But after...
Might be in good shape. One thing about the projections of numbers or flows is no forecast is correct. Every forecast that we put on a piece of paper is wrong. You'll be in the workable range, whether it's plus or minus a small number that normally, you might have enough money to pay for chemicals, electricity, the personnel, and have thousands or 10,000s left over. You might need to fund it on the O&M, so the first couple of years. So I don't think even the first couple of years you could say you're going to be good. You might be okay. You might need some additional funding.
What you have mentioned to me, Mr. Roche, is that at least the first 5 years, typically with a brand new plant, it can get struck by lightning and blow up. But typically, on a brand new plant, the first 5 to 9, kind of like with a new car, anything can happen. But typically, you're not going to have any major replacement cost, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That might be good, yes.
Maybe not, but maybe. You hope.
Yeah, and then you expect. It's better to know. You expect that.
You expect, yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead, Councilman McCoon.
When you don't have no money to make, you take that kind of chance on buying a new car?
No, if someone give me a car, I'd probably run around trying to figure out how to fill the gas up for a year or two, and I think I'd manage to scrape by, and I think this town will too, if you get a brand new plant. But I don't think that's how you want to run a utility that's so important for quality of life services, essential water and sewer services.
If we could scrape mines, we're not putting no money back to fix all this. With the money,
Yeah, put reserves.
off that 100 spots.
Page 5 of that presentation is out on the web. Show that when you put the additional flow in for the 133, it's approximately that lists $192,000 of revenue. Let's call it $200,000. The annual expenses were $269, and only about $10,000 was really into capital money. It was negative $77,000 just O&M. That's before you touch capital depreciation. So I believe it's going to be in the red before you do capital replacement, before you put reserves in for capital replacement. A number like that, if the town had, and I believe me, I'm not suggesting one way or the other, if the town had property taxes, other revenue sources, if you were a major sales tax generator, a town could manage that type of number, I believe, from other sources. Yes. I don't believe the town has a bunch of extra resources. Go ahead.
I want to open it up to if anybody else out there has questions. How many more you got?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I just want the residents to understand that I can't afford this on their own. I mean, my opinion, his opinion, I cannot afford this without help. Now, one more thing. When this first started, I didn't run to Tallahassee and get this money. Columbia County and I went to Tallahassee. And I know you weren't even there. But and they was going in a business together. They was going to do this. Columbia County was going to take all cost and make us a partner. That's how this started. Okay?
Mr. Castle, go ahead.
I don't even know if the county's willing to help anymore. Okay? I'm not saying they are, after all the trouble's going on the past 2 years.
Go ahead.
I have 2 questions. Is it Brian?
Yes, sir.
Brian, I'm Steve.
Yeah, we were talking on the phone.
Yeah, we did.
Nuke or Navy?
There you go, 25 years. All right, two questions. One, the $5.3 million grant, right? Is there a debt on that when, if you don't start using it? Does it go away?
It's a grant. So the state has funded that to the town to build this plant. Now, if the plant doesn't get built, the state just won't disperse the money.
Okay, so there's no drop dead date on that where you got to start pulling from?
Oh, yeah, there's a drop dead date. It has to be done, pull from in 22 months from now. December 31st, 2026, all money has to be dispersed. Time is the essence. This is...
All right, that's going to be my second point. Do we have a critical path timeline for where you are today on phase 1, okay, like the lift station number 1, to secure all of these easements to get into it so we can start digging holes? Nothing's been done yet, right? No digging has ever started yet, right?
No, that's okay.
So do you have a critical path timeline that says, out here's this date in 26, right? We're back here in 25. Okay, so it's what is it, April? Well, March?
Okay, I follow you.
You follow me?
Dirt has to be digging within 18 months of that deadline, and that's the critical...
and we're past that. Right?
No, we have about we're about 20 and a half months in. Time is the essence to go out and award contracts for this. The drawings of the collection system are there. Easements have to be acquired, and another engineer, myself, and Greg and I talked, and you can get a permit without easement. That's almost not. You probably could go to bid without 100% easements, but you don't want to. Easements need to happen ASAP, within a month.
Okay, so there's a lot of line items. Yes. Is there a critical path timeline laid out? Right now is March. Out here's this 26th date. Is there anything in here that says within the next 2 months I need all these easements, which there's 13 or 14 remaining, right? So who the hell is working on those to make that part happen? After the easements, then we're going to do this little block here so that we can start that lift station.
We're not designing a nuclear power plant, but the critical path is so simple here.
The easements we need in the next 90 days.
Yes.
That is the question.
Yeah, but who has the ownership of that? Is it this
group
up here?
We've done our work before Christmas. We've done
you engineered it.
The town has to acquire the easements.
Okay. So, Mr. Castro, we provided listings, aerials, design drawings of them, legal descriptions before Christmas, and we've been working on many of that so it allowed the communication during the summertime and the fall. And that is on the town to do that.
The previous town clerk was working on the easements, and now we have no town clerk.
Okay, so now we have no town clerk. Do we have what Connie was working on as far as, again, if you don't have a critical path timeline, you can't make it happen. And if you got a critical path on these easements that we need, who's in charge of the easements? You 5? Okay?
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Hey, serious, no, thank you. All right, thank you. Anyway, you gotta have some kind of a timeline, and I'm gonna say critical path, because that's what us nukes used to do. We call it critical path, and Mayor Jacob is in charge of this piece. Councilman Terry is in charge of this piece, so that somebody's starting to work these items as time goes.
Yeah, and I agree. Just so you know, I was working on that with Brooke, along with other things I was working on. I was working with Kelly. So here we are. I mean,
we have estimated time to complete these 13, 14 easements.
Do I have an estimated time? I know they need to be complete within the next, what was it, by June? Latest?
The answer is no.
Yeah. Do I have a plan? No. Do I have a plan on who up here is going to do it and when? No. I was doing it with Brooke and starting to work with the attorney, but so that was in the past. Right now, no.
Some easements should be easy, and some are going to be a challenge. They have been a challenge.
If there's eminent domain requirements, is that left at the towns to pay for, or is that available to be paid? I used to do right-of-way acquisition for the counties. So
the funding does not allow at this point in time to be used to purchase eminent domain. Timing would not work for eminent domain. And then my experience at easements, I even back checked with one of my ex-co-workers who's probably done more easements in North Florida than anybody I'm aware of in the utility design world, and only aware of paying for an easement from a town utility about one time in 20 years, her experience. So it should be, really shouldn't be an issue here. If it is, we got bigger problems. Go ahead.
I don't disagree. Go ahead.
So, is it fair to say that the town can't wait till this is completed to figure out how they're going to run it financially? I mean,
I go back and forth my career between finance and engineering, and utilities are so much more than just operation maintenance. They are first, the word I wrote, finance, administration, and governance. And then maybe even flip the word governance is probably the most important part. I didn't think about it because I've seen it happen. But finance administration, how are you going to finance and administer this utility? And then an element of that is how you operate and maintain the plant, the pipes, the pump stations, the generators, and things like that, and personnel.
My question's more geared towards the town figuring out how much they're going to bill the residents, if they're going to need to do an ad valorem tax, how many mills are they going to add to everybody's tax bills? And the final point is, ballpark figure, how much should this town council plan on now in a workshop that Ms. Terry mentioned, a conservative estimate for them to plan on to get the funds from these residents and sales taxes, ad valorem taxes, whatever? Are we looking at $500,000 a year?
I can answer that question. What's published out there before is that the wastewater plant, the operation, what we call net revenues, which would be required to cover debt service. Here you're not getting that, so you get a grant. But that would be closer to, I had $77,000 in this one example, so about $100,000 a year just to keep it running. Then you need about another, at least $100,000 a year early on to put in a capital reserve. A bond requirement wouldn't normally require that much. It's 5% of revenue, so 5% of $200,000 is only $10,000. But any utility only puts 5% of revenues in for capital reserves. When your depreciation is $200,000 or $300,000, that's going to have to pay the piper pretty soon. So you could get away with at least $100,000 needs to come in from another source of funding besides utility bill. If you want to keep utility bills about $100 a month for water sewer for a residential customer and equivalent on a commercial. I think you need at least 100 early years, and you're not putting money in reserve to pay for depreciation, and that is a recipe for a system that degrades over time. And there's unfortunately too many of those around.
And that includes 2 employees that you mentioned that you would need $77,000 or?
I think the whether, and respectfully, I think the mayor and I were talking, and noticed, well, you know, maybe one of these numbers might be $10,000 higher, $20,000 higher, and you need 2 employees, 2.5 employees, 3 employees. That depends how you do it. You contract it out. Those numbers are so small for a $10 million asset. Whether you're 10,000 here or 20,000 there, we're talking $10 million asset to operate a utility. Plus or minus $10,000. People could debate that all they want. It's really not that relevant. It's the number's so much bigger than that.
I'm just like to give everybody a history lesson, haven't I?
Okay, hold on. Whoa. You got to put a time limit on that. All right.
I got 3 minutes. Everybody else can talk on those.
I didn't tell you how much time you were going to get. Go ahead.
Okay. So, Mr. Bob White used to work for Great Bay. He's no longer with us. Great man, very good. He and David and me, Ronald Frazier, the last mayor, we went to Tallahassee to get money for grant money for silver and full box. Getting nowhere with it. So finally we come up and said, well, what if the county and the town
teams together and run the sewer. County, your financial backer of it, they would maintain, operate, cover all the things for the town of Fort White. When we come up with that plan, DEP come on board. The plan at that time was to do it in 5 phases. That was for DEP in Tallahassee. It was going to be in 5 phases. First phase was Fort White. It was going to go around taking 3 Rivers Estate. Come back out on 27, take into State Park, instead of State Park, and then come back up 27 back to Fort White. That loop. That's what they agreed to do. Well, so the deal with Fort White was we would form a utility between the county and the town, and the county and the town would apply for grants for the sewer on all 5 phases, and the operation and maintenance would be done by the county, and the county would cover the cost for the operation. Well, over the last 3 years, that whole plan has fell apart, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know if there's any support with other commissioners now to be involved at all with Fort White Sewer. But as the county commissioner for Fort White, I still support the project. Now, how we get there, I don't know, because we haven't really had a whole lot of luck working with the town. And some of it's probably county fault, some of it's probably town fault. But nonetheless, we're in the impasse. So, I think it's a great project. I think Fort White would benefit tremendously from this project. But I don't know if there's any desire to be part of this anymore. Now, I would support it, but I've said many times at these meetings, I'm one commissioner of 5. It takes 3 to do anything. So, how we move forward, I really don't know. That's up to the town, but just I want everybody to know as the commissioner for Fort White area, District 2, I do support this project. I'll leave it at that. But that's how this project comes about. It started about 4 years ago, and hadn't really progressed very well. So, Billy get involved, other people get involved, and just people can't get along. And that's how it went. So, but I just want everybody to know I do support this project. I think it's a great project for the town of Fort White. I think you'll get a grocery store Fort White at that time if people want that. I find Mr. Hunter worked with me some whenever we try to do this. Fort White residents will benefit greatly. It's going to be a little bit of cost to the town of Fort White residents. But the one thing I want to say before I sit down, if you'll let me just look at it.
Yeah.
How much is this council willing to put a financial burden on the residents of Fort White so they can have sewer and run it by themselves? How much of a burden or a financial burden are you willing to put on the residents that live in town of Fort White? That's the question you need to ask yourself.
4 minutes. Yeah, and it's a good question. It's something we got to address, not tonight, but at some point here, relatively soon. Go ahead.
Jacob, I think one of the biggest questions. I'm sorry, I thought you pointed somebody else.
No. No, I was going. No. Yeah.
I think one of the biggest questions that I have, and probably 90% of the people here have, is what is this going to cost us a month? I mean, he's saying $100 a month for utilities. That's ridiculous. So I mean, we need to get it down. There's people in this community, in this city, town, that can't afford that. You could be running people into the poorhouse. And nobody can afford. I can, but I'm damn sure bitch about it. But there's a lot of people in this town that cannot afford an additional $100 a month to be thrown out.
Can I clarify one thing? That's utility bases use a benchmark of 6,000 gallons a month. Some use 5,000. You start seeing now, so that's a round figure. And I think 100 is a better number than saying 50. You might see it anywhere from $65 to $130, depending on where you're in Florida, but just for Florida. If you get a little bit less, it'll get a little lower, but I think $100 is the right range of number they expect for our sewer monthly bill.
Well, my next question to that is how are we going to determine how much everybody's going to pay? Because I'm on a well. I'm not on city water. So how are you going to monitor how many times I flush my toilet?
Right. So and we would have to determine that. My understanding is typically is how it works is you're on a well, so that's different. But typically, whatever they charge you for the water, it's some multiplier at whatever. If you're 30 for the water, a 2 times multiplier, it's 30 for the water plus 60 for the sewage, $90.
$100 a month. Yes.
Right, but that's regardless though. I mean, if you get forced to hook up on sewage, that's regardless. You're paying. I mean, but and that's up to the council whether you're forced to hook up or not. These are all unknowns. You're right, but we haven't decided.
But I'm also under the impression that if we don't hook up on the sewer and we have a problem with our septic system, then it's going to cost us 5 or 10.
Hey, everyone, please, so we can hear whoever it is that speaks. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mark. No, I'm pointing at you.
Anyway. So you can't fix your drain fields, you can't fix your sewer system.
Yeah, and that may be a Florida statute that's out of our hands, period.
Well, and that could be, and if that's the case, that's something you got to consider.
That's my understanding, yeah.
And when they came out to my place, and they shot the line where it was going to go between me and my neighbor, my well sits right there on my property. So what are they going to do if they have to dig up my well? Who eats that? Me?
Yeah, I don't know if they could go around. I don't know. That's specific. That's a specific. Yeah, that's an engine. I
mean, I don't know where the easement is, but it's going to get me wrong. But I know it's going right down, probably within 6 inches of my well.
You're talking on your property. Maybe after meeting, just show me your parcel so we can follow up with you on that. Okay. But usually, if the septic tank, depending on location, it can be the line on the property can be routed around some of that.
Yeah, well, and that's what I asked the kids that came out there and shot it because.
Kids, was this a 6'8" guy I work with?
Yeah.
They came in there. He's 6'8".
9 years old, so everybody's
I'll give him a bonus for 4 white. His sister's with the College World Series picture. So even
they could have gone on the other side, which I own those lots, and they could have gone down there.
Just let me know your parcel afterwards, and we'll follow up on you on that. And we'll let Mr. Mayor, we'll let you know how we follow.
Yeah, hold on. You have had your hand raised for a long time. Then I'll get to you in the back. Oh, wait, hey, go ahead. You go.
So just curious, also for the council, have you guys done some sort of cost analysis? I guess like a 5-year window versus our budget to see how much in the red we're going to be, because he talked about an ad valorem tax, but those are never permanent. That's not a permanent tax.
An ad valorem tax?
It would be a millage, not an ad valorem.
And I'm pretty sure
it's not going to go away.
That's what I'm saying. Right. Tax is not permanent. So
it would be a millage.
You would have to impose another tax, and then how much in the red we would be, and how much would we have to come up with as well to guesstimate on this $10 million Mercedes that we're going to get.
Right.
It's not our Mercedes.
No, we have not done that analysis. I haven't done that analysis. I don't know who else. I have not done that.
If we're going to be in the red, $500,000 a year, does it make sense?
Yeah, right. I don't think it'll be. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so to piggyback off of him, there's a lot of people in this town that are on fixed income. And to raise the utilities by $60, that's a lot of money for them. My mom is on a fixed income. And that's a lot of money when you're on that. So you're increasing the utility bill for a sewage system. Also, who's going to come out and dig the lines for this? Because I'm not getting out there and digging the lines.
That's in the contract.
Yeah.
As far as that goes.
Because I'm not getting out there and I'm not making my almost 65-year-old mother get out there and dig the lines.
Yeah.
That's a huge increase. $60 doesn't seem like a lot. But when you're on a fixed income, that is a lot of money.
Yeah. And so as far as whether or not you hook up, my understanding is this. So real quick background framework. My understanding is the state of Florida in general is moving towards sewage. Period. Okay? I don't necessarily particularly feel the need to. I just got my drain field redone. But that's period. Whether you're with this county, that county, the moon on Mars, it's at something now.
It's gonna happen.
Right. Now, will it be 20 years, 15? That's where we deliberate and we decide. But, I mean, I hear you. I just don't know if that's going to stop anything. It may delay it for a while. But my understanding is, and this is a state level push, and that's why they're offering so much grant money, and will probably continue to offer more grant money, is that, yeah, for small, and just in general, we're Florida. We got the rivers, we got the aquifers, we got the water basins, we got all this. So that's the push behind that, and that, I think that is just what it is, from my understanding. Go ahead, man.
So my question is, Mr. Ford isn't sure that any of the other commissioners will go along with this merger. I'm not sure what the county gets out of it, if anything. But who should approach the other commissioners in Lake City? Should it be someone from Fort White?
Yes.
Somebody in the board?
Yeah.
Or should it be Mr. Ford speaking for the people of Fort White?
I think Mr. Ford has done
No, I think the council ought to approach, because Mr. Ford's done everything he could the last couple of years, and they've about had it.
Well, that's okay, too, if they about had it. I mean, I'm just saying.
No, it's not going to tell you anything about it. The council needs to approach the board if the board goes for it.
I'm just asking who needs to
Yeah.
take the next step
Any council, yeah.
to see if they'll be willing to get back on board.
Yeah. And any council member could,
Back on board, then you'll know whether we can go ahead and move forward.
Correct.
Yep.
Because it is coming, and it's coming from Tallahassee.
Right.
May not be next year, but it's coming.
It's a state push. My understanding is it's coming. I'm going to get to you next. Ma'am, go ahead in the back.
Is Three Rivers still considered phase one, and does it include the schools or the town?
The school, I don't think, no. Yeah, go ahead.
Three Rivers, no, and when Mr. Ford was communicating the plan that Mr. White, who not with us, and I never met, but the plan was more of a decade or two long plan. That was a $60, $70 million type number. 5 years ago, numbers was called $100 million, and that would be more of a further phase. Just picture when that's. Phase one is the, and we've had maps out here before. Phase one is the central area here with the two highways. And Greg, correct me on my north and the east side of Highway 27.
Yeah.
The school is not part of this phase one of the 9.8. The school will be the one right afterwards. We did put pipes in and large enough to, when the school determines and with the town to connect into the system, that the pipe can handle that. And pump stations are beside to handle that 10,000 gallons a day type flow from the school we're sitting right now.
Okay. And we'll take, I think we have one more, and then we'll move on to the next.
The resolution for mandatory hookups, I'm not aware of actually happening. Certainly the town has talked about it, and the plan was always that it would be that if you hook up now, you don't have to pay for any of the hookup fees. The on-site piping which the lady out there mentioned. And one of the advantages is a septic tank would go bad one day. We had to get it pumped out or go bad. So you won't have that cost. Now, I do fully understand $60 a month type number on 5,000-6,000 gallons a month is significant, but those costs go away. And those are things where the resolution needs to happen too for the mandatory hookup. I don't think that ever got followed through on.
No, I don't. No, not for the wastewater, not to my knowledge.
They certainly verbally, the prior council said it multiple times. I've heard it in meetings that they plan on doing that, but I don't think it followed through on it.
Okay, Mr. Dix will be the last one.
Just piggybacking, I've heard y'all say that connections, if you did it at the time of installation, the connection fees be waived. What about impact fees?
That would be part of that. It's always been part of the impact fee. The impact fee in the water service is typically called a capacity fee for the treatment plant. Here, you couldn't charge it because in any sort of cost of service because it's a grant from the state. So that would not be.
So commercial business will be able to tie on with no cost, no.
The 133 parcels in this design. And it's been published, the map, and they do have it, at the town.
It was in the January meeting.
In January meeting,
yeah.
Anybody. 130 parcels will not have any sort of cost to hook up. Capacity
extension, they would. potentially have to.
If you were, typical water sewer, if you were 100 yards from that, then typically the developer or owner of that parcel would have to extend the pipe and pay for that extension and pay capacity into the plant, which has to be determined at that point in time. Now, we would hope that there'll be another grant to allow the future build-out here.
Okay.
But no grants are typically given for O&M costs.
All right. Yes. And that's something that we'll need to do a workshop and more homework on. And like you say, the critical path.
I don't think we got time to do no workshop if we have to get these, easements.
Well, yeah,
by June.
the easements got to get done regardless. Yeah, I mean as far as the cost and everything.
I think we got a bunch of work to do, and inevitably, it's going to happen. Whether we be preventive with it or reactive with it. Preventive is the best way while we have funds. I think we go back to the drawing board and discuss with the county where we are, how we can make this thing work and move forward. Because all of this tabling things and waiting until next time, we'll be in June before you know it. We got another special meeting coming up, and then April, May, and June. And it'll come up on us before we know it. So I think we need to move forward with the process.
Yep, I don't disagree. And like I say, the critical path is the easements. So,
one other thing hasn't been discussed here, and I think Mr. Ford brought up in a prior meeting, is the cost to the town during the construction. You remember that question, Mr. Ford?
Yeah, it's administration of it, the contract management. We're here as engineer and service during construction. We review pump submittals to make sure it's the right metallurgy, the right flows that we spec. We make sure the pipe is there. Now, certainly if there's a conflict or something in design or something unknown, the engineers will support looking at that. But the actual day-to-day administration of that contractor, that's going to be, whatever, 5, 6, 7, or 2 contracts actually, sending out procurement, and the administration of that is on the owner's rep, which would be the town. And before, the county had staff to do that. So that's its work.
Okay.
And can you elaborate what the cost of that usually is? 10% of the project?
I wouldn't quite go 10, but I think certainly 2 to 3 on a $10 million project, certainly a couple $100,000, type number, 200,000 to 300,000. I think Mr. Ford would be and David Gray, correct me, more than that, in the hundreds of thousands, not millions and not tens of thousands. So
right.
Some of the hundreds, small numbers.
Gotcha. And okay, well, hold on. Wait, whoa, hold on, everybody, hold on. Anything related to the sewage, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Roche, is paid out of the grant, the $10 million, almost $10 million grant that we have, right?
Not the procurement administration of, say, the town here has to, we're the engineers, so we've been hired, we're paid out of that, and we will do engineering service during construction. Again, review pumps, the pipes, make sure it's the right material. We'll look at when the contractor starts at the pump station. But typically, when a utility or a town is put in infrastructure, they have some construction oversight of the construction, not the engineering. And also the administration to make sure payments come in right. And the contractor says that bill is going to
right. That's right? Grant reimbursement. Yeah, okay, right.
When the customer on the Parkway says, why is my road dug up for 2 months here? I thought it was only going to be for a week. And there's a there's a path to get to the house. The contractor's required to do that. That's going to be handled. That outreach is by the utility, and big utilities have teams to do that. So the communication with the constituents, the parcel owners, and the people, that is done by the owner of the utility.
Right. It's a cost. Right. So if we outsource it and we pay, it'll be a cost. If we do it, it's whatever the cost is in man hours.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's usually it's not in the grant fund.
Right. If we had to outsource it and we wanted to pay someone to do that, right. All right.
Some things, if it's not paid, will kind of slip on through, and some of them work out on its own, and some of them won't. Some will end up at, unfortunately, the mayor's office, probably.
Right. Okay. No, wait. We're done. So we're moving on. Update on the town's 2 CDBG grants. I think that was Mr. Easton. Andy, if you want to come up.
Hold on. What are we doing with the sewage?
This is a sewage update. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So we just dropped the ball again. One more time, put it off a couple more months.
Dropping what ball?
We have to move forward.
But move. Okay, but what do you mean move? Like move forward? Like
Are we moving forward with the easements? Are we going to work with the county? Somebody going to call the county back? We got to do something. We just can't, this update and then, till next time.
right. So right now the critical path, if we want to begin construction, is the easements. So what we need to identify is who is reaching out to the property owners and finding out, hey, are you willing to give this easement? Working with the attorney to draft up, I don't know, whatever paperwork or agreements with the property owners and do that. Like I say, I was working on that with Brooke. That was in the past, now moving forward. Does anybody on the council want to volunteer to take that on?
Which part?
The easements.
Easements.
Working.
I'll help with the easements. What is your plan with this sewage? We haven't heard your plan. We hearing this, she keeps bringing up the county, I brought up the county. You don't bring up the county, so what's your plan for Fort White to do with this sewage system and tell these residents how we gonna pay for this?
Right, so that is a question that can be answered separately at another time. My plan right now is to figure out who's going to do these easements. My plan right now is to figure out who's going to do these easements because that's what's on the critical path.
Is there a blueprint of the easements?
So it's all been identified. Everything has been identified. It's just a matter of who is going to work with.
That's what I'm trying to find out.
The town.
That's what I'm asking.
Right.
Go ahead.
That's the next step.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. The easements have been identified. The property owners and the parcel. Excuse me, please, sir. Thank you. So the easements have been identified. The property owners, the parcels, it's been identified. Someone just needs to reach out. So that's the question: is as far as what's the plan? The plan is, well, I guess, and that's what we have to decide. Who's gonna be that project manager to push forward with those easements? Again, I can assist. Me and Brooke had it to a point where we would probably be able to get it done within those 90 days, depending on, it's up to the property owners ultimately. But
is your plan on the Fort White trying to fund this and run this without the county?
the plant's not even built yet. So that's that.
That's that, huh?
But right.
These people won't.
So, but anyway,
I'm not the only one wanting to know
right.
that. This article wants to know that.
Are we going to do it or not?
I think initially, well, yeah.
I mean, are we
The
going
goal is to do it, and that's what I'm saying. My focus is on getting it done. So in order to do that, we got to focus on what's on the critical path. The critical path is these easements. That's why I understand everybody's talking about cost.
And
We haven't even built it yet. We got to build.
Is we need the county. We don't have any money.
Yes.
So that's a part of the critical path. So we could go get these easements from these people all day. If we don't have anything to support the sewage system, then what we get easements for? We got to work with the county to secure finances or financial support before you go get all these easements, and then you can't. I mean, it's going to happen either way, but you go get these easements and the residents asking, where is all this money coming from, or how are we going to get it, or what the town going to do then? Oh, I don't know. We haven't talked to the county yet. We depended on the county, but we haven't talked to them yet. So easements is critical. It has to be done by June, but it's also critical that we develop a relationship back with the county to see how and if and when they will support us in this endeavor.
I agree.
Right. Yeah.
So I think the things on the agenda is getting the easements, and we need to talk back with the county.
I would say the county is the top priority because it doesn't, and I'm repeating what you said, so I apologize in advance. But the easements are of no use if we don't have the money.
Right.
So
The money to operate the plant after it's been built, or the money, what money?
well, it's no good sitting there if we can't operate it. It might be pretty, but it's got to be managed.
Right. But I don't know that we should make. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay.
So
Is there a
Can we
motion?
make a motion?
Does somebody want to make a motion?
Work with the city to explore.
Anybody on this council can reach out to any county commissioner. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand.
Well,
Anybody can do it.
If the county is still willing to be involved, then we ask the county to fund this project.
Can I make a suggestion?
Go ahead.
So, the proper procedure would be, Mayor, you call the county after we vote on the agenda. You're on the agenda to talk about sewer courtwide. At that point, you go to the meeting and you present your plan to the council, to the commissioners, the whole county. And say, we have this project, this is what we can do, this is the money we got. Do we have any support from the county to help us with this project? And I'll be there to help you. And I'll help word it. But at the end of the day, Fort White's got to come to the Board of County Commissioners and make a request. And without that, nothing's moving forward with the county, I can tell you. I'll go to every Board of County Commissioner meeting. I know where the county's at. I know where the other commissioners are at. And the only way this moves forward is for you to come make a request. And I'm not guaranteed to move forward then, but that's where it's got to start. It's got to start before White making a request.
Oh, okay, so
When's the next county meeting?
First and third Thursday of every month.
yeah. So I guess it sounds like if what the council is saying, we want the county to help us also administer the grant and even just get it done just the whole way along the way. We can do that if that's what the council wants to do.
I just want to explore the option of what the county is willing to do.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that what we want them to do, what they're willing to help us with, and then if we won't accept that help or not. I think that's fair.
Right, okay. But I guess I'm not sure.
We can't do it without their help.
Understood.
Right.
And
Go ahead.
And this is old news. I mean, and part of it is, the turnover. And part of it has just been, we don't need the county. Some of the individuals in the seats said we don't need the county. And the county is here for us. They're not the enemy. They're here for us.
Who said we don't need the county?
I said it. I just said it.
Oh, okay.
They're not the enemy.
Right. No, you said some of the individuals up here said we don't need the county, but I don't remember anyone up here
No,
saying
I mean, there's been a lot of turnover.
Oh, yeah.
And,
For 2 years now,
wait, let her finish. Well, hold on. Don't interrupt Councilwoman Terry. Go ahead. Finish.
You're interrupting her every time she speaks.
Go ahead. Please finish.
we need the county. And we need to build a relationship with the county. And I've said this in just about every meeting. I welcome you to watch every tape and every word I've ever said out of my mouth, because I own it today, I owned it when I said it, and I'll own it in the future. And they are here to support us with the sewage, which would benefit everyone, and it's going to happen anyway, maybe not in the lifetime of a few of us in the room, but it's going to happen anyway. So we might as well get it while we got it. And I don't know if interlocal agreement is the word. I would like to say positive relationship, a productive relationship. And I'm kind of going like that for you to come in of where we were and where we can pick up. And I know you're one of 5. But it seems like today, anyway, you as the county commissioner in our district you've got our support.
I've always got support.
And I don't want it to be, it should never be, oh, now we need you, so hey, we need you. It should have been like that all along. We can just build relationships together and go forward.
Okay.
And totally unrelated, I'm all for it, supporting the Springs. And the Springs are head over heels of it coming out there, meaning Itchitucky Springs State Park.
Okay, so before I proceed, is there anything else that we want to say or make a motion on or decide? Because I was going to proceed.
I'll make a motion that the mayor, and y'all can object to this because this is new to me, but the mayor extends his hand, that might not be phrased right, but to open the relationship, attend the meeting, get the support of our district commissioner, and...
He gave his support.
And I know, but I mean, you still got to build a relationship and bring back the information to the council that you gather from the meeting with them.
Is there time for us to get on the commissioner's agenda for April the 7th? That's the first Monday.
I think it's April 2nd.
Oh, it's a Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's still time.
It would be April 2nd.
I forgot about the Thursday.
Just say you go.
So, Mr. Thomas, you need to...
Yeah, you can,
Mr. Ford,
But as the mayor,
and he's going to help you write up what to say and present this to the commission.
April 3rd.
Is there time to get on that agenda?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, potential. But so before
But it takes time.
I commit to being there Thursday morning, because on top of all the time I already do dedicate to being the mayor, before I also dedicate that morning, is there some reason people want me as opposed to... Yeah, but I didn't finish my question. Yeah, but I didn't finish the question. Yeah, but I didn't finish what I was going to ask them. So is there some reason people want me to go there and do this in person as opposed to just working with Rocky on my schedule? I'm trying to figure out, everybody's trying to put all these...
He can't do it all on his own. You have to get the acceptance of
Mr.
or
Mayor.
the vote, the support from the council. He's one of 5, like you're one of 5.
I'm one of 5. Yeah, so...
Mr. Mayor, what he is suggesting is talk to your other councilman. He's for it. You got him. He's just suggesting that the other council,
I agree.
Everything that's going on with 4Y is kind of just,
and I agree with
about 4Y no more.
And I've called the other county commissioners before, so I agree. I can work with. I just, everybody says go to the meeting, as opposed to just calling and working with them. I don't. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just kind of confused by this all. You haven't shown a lot of leadership. That's my problem. And you're showing a very lack of leadership through this entire meeting, through the last meeting that I had. And now, even when people are giving you the information, you have excuses, you have all these other sheets, but none of that is leadership. So what we're asking you as the mayor is to step up, to put your ego behind you, and to try and give a nice presentation to the town of Fort White through the proper channels of procedure of how government works. And they're asking you to be that leader. If you've accepted this position, you need to step up and act like a mayor. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Go ahead.
All I got to say.
Good evening, residents of Fort White, council members. You guys already know me, most of you, some of you don't. I'm George Thomas, I'm my married brother. With regard to the ego thing, first and foremost, I would say the member with the least amount of ego on this council is the mayor. I have reason for saying that. One, he's the one that has exhibited 0 outbursts and has held his composure here every single night, and this runs 2 or 3 hours. The residents who are here, we put half of these members on here, or we put a previous constituent who elected one of these other members that came as a result of our initial election in the past.
Let him finish. Don't interrupt.
Did you listen to what I said, Brandon? I said you might have elected a previous member who one of these members came as a result of. I agree with you. All these members here, except the mayor, was not elected. So if you have something else to say, just let me know and we can talk about it. But you completely misinterpreted what I said. Thank you. So my point being, Do we know the alternative, whether it's feasible or not? Do we know the alternative to not having the county run this? Because I know what Bradley and Mr. Ford stand to get from this. I'm not casting stones, I'm not doing anything. All I'm saying is, we have one side of the story, the county. Is there an alternative that we are not aware of? Okay, that's my first question.
Right, we don't
That's
know.
my first question. That's my first question. I'm not interrupting y'all. We sit back here with the sidebar, we sit back here acting like clowns, instead of being here as productive citizens to work with our council members. Okay? Going back, just to rehash a couple of details, right? Because one of the things that we don't have for all the council members is accountability. In the past, when the mayor tried to put in place a town clerk and an assistant town clerk, whose decision was it? I've gone back to look at previous meetings to see who's responsible for what voting decision. I've seen how long you've been here, sir, since before 2021. I've seen a lot of your past votes and how they're not necessarily, in my opinion, being a resident of Florida my whole life, being a resident of Fort White, how they're in the best interest of us.
Mine?
Not just you. Additionally, the main catalyst to putting in an assistant town clerk and a town clerk that runs through a temp agency, if I'm not mistaken, it was you, Ms. Captain Terry. Okay? That ended up costing the taxpayer 50% more when the mayor initially said, let's vote. The mayor initially also said, let's have a processing place. That was rejected by the council. All I'm saying is, if there is an alternative, can we hear that? Right?
Yeah, and so that's why. Yes, there's an alternative. What the alternative is and what it looks like and what are the fees and et cetera, and if there's a millage rate, we don't know. Like, I don't know. I haven't I don't think any of us have sat down and done the analysis and said, hey, here's a realistic cost projection. Here's what it'll cost. Yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera. I have no problem working with Commissioner Ford. I spoke with him before. I've called all the county commissioners. But it's just kind of funny to me how I'm the one working late nights, working weekends in town hall, there with Kelly, was there with Brooke, helping them every step of the way, putting in some weeks darn near full-time hours to then be told by people who haven't lifted a finger, well, you need to be a leader and you need to go and not just work with them on your own time, on your own schedule. You need to be here this day, this time, or else you're not a leader. Look,
you're not a leader.
Excuse me. Let me finish. So, look, I have no problem working with, and he said he's willing to work with me. Great. I'll call Mr. Kraus and work with him and work through the other commissioners. I'm not even sure I understand right now at this point, aside from following through on the critical path and working on these easements in the next 90 days, personally, as a priority ranking, I think that should be our priority for these 90 days. And once we get that done and we get the easements and the project can actually continue, then we worry about what will happen a year and a half later financially and working with the county and hammering that out. That's just my opinion. So that's what I'm saying. It's 8:30. We got other presentations. I try to move on and we keep getting pulled back and do this, go to this meeting. No, you can't work with them over the phone and unofficially. You have to do, can we proceed here, or is there a motion to be made? Because if not, at this point, we have to proceed with this meeting.
I make a motion that one of us attend the meeting. The meeting's important because Mr. Ford, like each individual on the county commission, they can't make, individually, each one cannot make the decision to, this is not the right word, but I'm going to say it, except Fort White. Right. It has to be a conversation with all the council, all the commissioners.
Right, and
talk to us, which he does. He supported us from day one But he has to take that back to his council or commission, just like we do here. I can talk to someone in the street, that's a great idea, but it has to come back here for approval.
Yeah, and I don't think we need a motion for that. I think somebody can just go.
Yeah.
So,
No, I don't mind going at all.
very well. Okay. Is there? Okay, if there's no motion to be made,
Mr. Mayor,
yeah, we're gonna.
you just want
No, we're gonna proceed. Go ahead, Mr. Easton. Go ahead, Mr. Easton.
Good afternoon.
There's a motion on
You have
the
a
floor.
motion on the floor.
Oh, is that okay? So what was your motion?
One of us go and attempt to build the bridge and seek the appropriate information concerning, I don't know if interlocal agreement is the correct slang, but we've got to build a relationship to get this done. The easements are secondary. They need to be done, but it doesn't matter if they're done, boom, just like that. If we do not have the money, we cannot go forward.
So the motion is to reach out to them or to be at that meeting? What was
We
specifically?
have to go. Does someone have to be at the meeting?
It would definitely help.
Yes.
So which meeting are we
So, okay, I don't... A meeting that one of us has to be there?
Everybody on the council can go, why don't you offer to go, Ms. Carey?
I just did.
Okay.
So do you like retract your motion, or do you want to make the motion to force? I mean, I don't even know.
I just want to, I want the support.
Excuse
me.
I agree.
I want the support of the board, because I'm not just going up there to sit at the meeting. I want to bring information back that is going to be listened to and acted on. The act might be we reject them. The act might be we accept them. But I don't want to just go sit in the meeting.
Right, but I mean...
I second the motion.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody that...
Okay, all in favor say... Okay, all in favor... So,
In the past,
Mr. Lander, we
the
don't-
mayor has, and you know, Ronnie, of course, had gone and been like the mediator for these, or the bargainer, or the negotiator.
Yes.
And the role of the clerk in the past is she is the communications. I can't call Ronnie and say, hey, what happened at the meeting? I can't call Mayor Thomas, hey, what happened at the meeting? But Connie filters that out to us. And hopefully in the future, the clerk will have that as part of her role.
Okay, so... all right,
Sunshine's
so...
weird, you know, you can go through this third party, but you can't go directly to the person.
Okay, so there's a motion, there was a second. Okay, all in favor of
Ms. Terry going to...
Ms. Terry going to the council meeting on, I guess whatever the next one is, say aye. Okay, all opposed say nay. Okay, fantastic. Go ahead, Mr. Easton, please.
My name is Andy Easton. I'm a grant consultant for the town of Fort White. I've been working with the town for at least a couple of years now on two grants from the Community Development Block Grant Program. The acronym is CDBG. These are federal dollars, and every year there's a grant cycle for small cities. Cities under 50,000 and counties under 200,000. They compete with each other for these funds. If you're a larger city, they just get an allocation every year from the federal government. And so these are highly competitive funds. And when we first started, we looked at different ways that the town could be competitive and acquire these funds. And so right now you're doing a housing grant. It's a $600,000 grant. And it's to repair housing or to demolish them and replace them if they're in poor condition. And you did partner with the county on this project, by the way. The county gets money from the state of Florida called the State Housing Initiative Partnership Program, the SHIP program. And in order to make your housing grant for this that y'all got now, they put in about $25,000. So you're partnering with the city on this grant. And so there was enough money to do 3 houses. And so they're going to be demolished and then replaced. Each house is a little under $200,000. So $600,000 sounds like a lot of money. It's not. You get 3 houses, that's it. So that's what the grant is for the housing. These are very intricate grant programs, and so the environmental review process has to be done for each house before it can be demolished and replaced. And so that has been going on quite a long time, and we hope to be going to construction maybe within 60 days, could be less than that. So that's some good news. And there's really no issues to hold this particular grant up, other than completing the environmental reviews that are required for each grant. And I don't know, did y'all get the pictures and all that?
I think so.
Yeah, each house is about a little under 1,000 feet. There's 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and they're modest houses, and they're a welcome addition to the community. It helps to make long-term improve the housing stock. So that's where we are with that. If you have any questions? I have a
Questions here? Hold on. Go ahead.
During the, like you said, demolition, is that person displaced during the construction?
Well, the way it works is there's a temporary relocation allowance. It's not very much. It's $300 per person, and that allows them to maybe rent one of the portable storage units or something like that. But basically, the homeowner would have to find a place, for a few months while they're relocating. It is a pretty low, a low amount, but.
All right. Anybody else here on the council have any questions? No? Okay. Yeah, but... Okay, go.
Are these houses in Fort White itself, and are these people rebuying these houses?
Well, the way it works is these are grants to the homeowner. They have to be low to moderate income, and it is a loan agreement that gets forgiven after 5 years. So if you build them a house and they leave the next year, then they have to pay the money back. So
they have to be in this house for a number of years,
right?
Paying back.
No.
So they're living rent free.
They're in the house. It's given to the owner. But if they move out of the house in less than 5 years, then they have to pay for the house.
Okay, so they couldn't sell this house.
They couldn't sell.
Yeah.
But it's a competitive process in the sense that they fill out an application. The highest priorities goes to handicapped, elderly, people with health conditions. So basically, we gave people that need the houses. That otherwise couldn't afford a house. It's really fallen down. So it's a very good program to have, because the most deserving need it for sure. So that's one grant program. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Then we'll move on.
These 3 houses already been identified? Yeah, they put an ad in the paper 2 or 3 times, and they asked for people to fill out an extensive application form when we came up with these 3 people.
Is the council aware of these 3 homes?
Yeah.
You guys are aware of it?
Yeah, I know at least 2 of them. I didn't look at the third one.
I understand the process. I just didn't know how far along we were.
And does it cost us? No. It's awarding 3 people in need new homes.
And so that's one program. Now the other is the sidewalk project. And if you remember when COVID hit, that was a big disaster. And so the economy collapsed in the United States. So one way to help the economy out, they gave out all this money to the local governments. I guess y'all got just several different tranches of money from the federal government. One of them was for the CDBG program for infrastructure improvements, and what the Fort White decided to do was a sidewalk project between the 2 schools, and so that's what this project is. And as a matter of fact, it's all been designed, and we're ready to bid, so we need your approval to advertise for bids. Did you get the advertisement? I sent it to Kelly. We can advertise, I think, Thursday or Wednesday, and we're ready to go. And it's just a simple sidewalk project, and one part of it's in front of the elementary school, the other is part of the high school, and eventually the DOT is going to connect the 2 sidewalks so the kids can walk back and forth. you would have had the CDBG grant paid for it, but there was some arcane grant rules that wouldn't allow us to do that.
So you need from us a authorization to be able to proceed with the project, to be able to proceed with the bid?
Right, just a motion would be fine, advertise for bids.
Oh, just to okay. All right, floor's open for a motion to
Advertise for the
yeah.
sidewalk improvement bids.
Advertise for the bid.
We approved, make a motion for you to advertise for the sidewalk bids.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right. Okay. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed say nay. All right.
And we did get, I sent a schedule, I don't know if you're interested in the schedule, it has the date that the bids are.
Yes.
And all that, and so it should be like a 90-day project, should be pretty simple.
Yeah, I did see that. Thank you. That was actually helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The schedule was helpful. Monthly finance budget. Okay, I don't think Mrs. Duncan is here, or maybe she was here and she's left. Yeah, she left, but yeah. Anyway, it didn't make it onto the agenda in time, but we have here the balance sheet for the town. Again, without the accountant right here right now with us, I don't know.
Let me see that for a second. I don't know that I have that.
This one.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what I asked for.
Oh, is yours different?
I don't see that, but that's not what I was asking for.
Oh.
I'm asking
And it
for
wouldn't have been.
a monthly report of A account paid $800 and $700 came in. Of that $800 that went out, $200 went to this spot, $400 went to this spot, the remaining $200 went to this spot. The $700 that came in came from this spot, so that we
Okay.
can see a true breakdown. Most councils have that financial report or commissioner, most boards have that.
I don't think it's typically itemized. From speaking to the accountant, it's not typically itemized. It's just generally speaking, hey, we spent $5,000, we got $4,000, whatever.
Well, now speaking for me, I just feel like we're running in the dark all the time, because these aren't transparent and we don't know what money is where.
Okay. Any other comments here on the?
Now, I think if they look back a little bit, you'll find where we used to get them.
Yeah, I know. I don't know when it stopped. Yeah, I heard
I don't know
that.
when it stopped, but we used to get them every month.
Yeah.
Just for record.
But before we proceed, I'll wait and see if any of the council members have anything to say on that one. Because I think we voted to make it monthly, so.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and like I said, we used to get them, I don't know if something's on, I don't know if we got a record of it.
We could probably find something, yeah.
Okay, but we did used to get them.
Okay, voting process decision for electing new council members. So, I think we got two suggestions here.
I think we have two proposals, one from me and one from Ms. Terry that's very detailed. Both, they are very detailed. And I don't think tonight we're going to come to a decision on that. I think we should allow the town to, go to the town hall, get copies of them, review them, and then, we address it again, because we're not going to review these and all these details tonight and finalize the process. That's just my thought.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Do we want to do we want to vote to have another town council meeting here? Let me see. This is what I was saying. There's stuff that I don't think we're going to be able to get to tonight that would.
What did you say earlier, April?
I'm looking. Yeah, we could do the 7th.
7th on a Monday?
Yeah.
April 7th. I ain't got no problem with that.
We want to do that?
That's good with me.
Yeah. Do we, as I'm saying, okay, so we want to make a motion to have a town, well, I'll wait and see if she's
No, I'm good, I'm just,
good on for the 7th.
Leonard, do we need a motion for this?
If you're gonna set a new meeting, I would think.
You would call it, okay.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, real quick.
If you're going to now delay the procedure you're using to elect your next appointment, then you're going to have to delay the appointment another 30 days.
yeah.
I thought we done it 60.
Yeah, we gave ourselves like a 60-day extension in her.
But you also have to, you're going to have to approve it at the next meeting, pass a resolution in order to be able to use it.
Yeah, so if we pass it on the 7th, then we could do it on the one on the 21st, I think it is. Like that process. We could. Or we could do another meeting, or if that's what I'm saying. If. Okay, so
And, I'm sorry, is there an advertisement and an open and closing date for the seat too?
there's nothing yet because we haven't
We have to have all
approved.
this in place before we do that?
I don't know that we have to, but I told Kelly to wait to make sure, that we did have something in place. Okay. All right, so the floor is open for a motion to have another town council meeting on the 7th. April 7th. Monday, April 7th, at 6.
I make a motion that we have a workshop, is it a workshop?
No, just a meeting. Yeah, just a meeting.
Meeting on April 7th.
Town council meeting. Okay, is there a second?
Do we have to add that we table the candidate proposal until that meeting? Because that's what we were on, is the candidate selection. So we have to include that somewhere with the motion to table it to the next.
So if we,
session meeting.
If you table it, you gotta vote on it at the next meeting.
Well, we need.
right.
Yeah, we should.
Okay, so let's do that, and then we'll vote to table it. Okay, so, all right, all in favor of having another town council meeting on the April 7th at 6 p.m., say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed say nay. Okay, so now we can table the voting process decision. Floor is open for a motion to table that until the April 7th meeting.
And Ms. Merrick said it already, but we can have, like I gave everybody one of my proposals. We can have Kelly email us Ms. Merrick's proposal.
And it should be open to the public. Mine
Yes.
is there.
Oh, yes.
What, yours on the tables? Don't you got-
Yeah, hers, it should have been, I don't know, I thought it was there, maybe, I don't think. I thought it was
Mine's
there.
on the table.
Hers was too. Hers was on the table when we came in.
Oh, I thought you told me it wasn't.
I didn't know it was on
Oh,
there.
it was.
And this should have been too, but I get.
Mine is.
Oh, it is.
Okay, all right, so if we wanted to, floor is open for a table to, or floor is open for a motion to table the,
I'll make a motion that
Voting
we
process.
table the voting process to the April 7th meeting.
okay, is there a second?
I said.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. All right. Last one is well, no, not the last, never mind, not the last one. Number 8 is the town financial audit bids. So these went out, I think Connie had put them out back when she was here. So it's a yearly audit, so it's going to be for the last fiscal year. And we got 2 firms who submitted proposals. One is Powell and Jones. The other one is, I forgot the name. There's the second one. Powell and Jones will do it for $10,000. The other one will do it. They've been doing it for us. Other one will do it for $48,000. Do we need more discussion, or are we ready to?
What?
Yeah.
Well, it's 10 and 128?
48.
48? No, we don't need to discuss.
Yeah. It's on page.
I got you, I see it.
You see it? Page 13 there. Yeah. Which apparently is like more in line with the going rate. But I guess Powell and Jones giving us like a significant discount, which I think we should take. But all right, so floor is open for a motion if we want to go with Powell and Jones. That's the cheaper one, or if we want to go, what's the name of this? I forgot the name of the firm. DMOV Audit, I think. Floor is open for a motion.
I make a motion, we go with Powell and Jones for our annual audit.
Is there a second?
A second.
All right, all in favor of granting the award to Powell and Jones for the annual audit say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, that passed. And then we got 9 and 10 here. Grant presentation. Council, I don't know who you had for that.
Grant presentation. My turn. Yeah. This shouldn't take but about 30, 45 minutes. I was under the impression that you were going to have a discussion tonight on the Main Street.
We are now, yeah.
Oh, it's next. Okay.
Yeah, you want to...
I'll go after. Let me go after that then. And
Well,
Did Doug leave?
I think so.
like I added that to the agenda.
Oh, Doug, we could table it maybe? Or-
Let me just say a couple of things because it might apply to him. I'm still hung up on that $24,000 a year of us sponsoring the executive director. And I probably should have asked Andy Easton, and you may know, Glenn, and I don't know if you do know, can that commitment or that amount of dollars be reimbursed to us through projects with the Main Street?
I'm not sure what the conditions of that.
What do you mean reimbursed us?
As events occur, let's say there was a strawberry festival, and I know we're not, isn't Plant City the strawberries? And a revenue was generated where there were $8,000 of profit. To keep the Main Street going with money, could 4 stay in that kitty and 4 come back to the town of Fort White? And we regain that $24,000 investment. I don't know if that's an option.
That seems you're with the administrator for that grant, so you need to be talking with, get clarification on that.
Yes.
Lake City had a Main Street project, and it worked very well, but it was a much larger area that was covered in downtown Lake City, their historic district. So they tied a lot to the historic district and public relations in the community there. I really came to talk tonight, and I'm going to make this real short, about the train station and about your caboose. You've got a beautiful piece of property there. Truett George, your mayor back in the 1990s and 2000, was able to get that train station, original train station, moved back from Brantford to Fort White. Got a historic grant from the state, got it renovated. Plans were at that time for that particular project to create a museum highlighting why Fort White moved here back from the river when the train came in, all the historic nostalgia associated with that, highlight some of the original pioneers in the community here, things that were associated with that. Also, the discussion was to we went forward in the school. When I was on school board, we were fortunate enough, we were decommissioning the old caboose there at the kindergarten center, where tens of thousands of kids in Columbia County went through, got an education on trains back from 1970s all the way up to about 2010. So when that was decommissioned, the county commission came in and provided a little bit of a grant to get it renovated and put here. They built the track. That all had to be approved by the Historical Society for the caboose to go into that location. The plan was to go forward and put in a bulkhead tied together with the back of the train station, create a STEM program where that building would be a historical building. It wasn't going to happen overnight. It could happen in phases. But it was going to be a historical building where it could be a destination point for schools, elementary school children who've never been on a train, to have the opportunity to come. We left enough track to put in an engine if that was going to be able to happen at some point. Still could happen if there's enough believers that want to do that. But children all over North Florida, that could be a destination point. They can come through. They can go through the train station. They can have a STEM education program related to things as to the early trains, as to how they were fueled, the energy created by wood, coal, diesel, and so forth, and steam, and so forth. There's so many. Duke Energy, for instance, had just built their solar array out on 27. Duke has a foundation. Some of the ideas were to run a kiosk, a live kiosk showing how energy is generated throughout the day, 24 hours a day, have the kiosk set up so children and folks could understand how energy is developed through solar panels. And you can see at nighttime, of course, it's probably going to be zero. But you can see the effect of the climate and clouds and so forth and so forth. So there's a lot of opportunities with that. The town, I've been talking with the town, you've got Clay Electric, who's very big here. They give grants out every year. But at some point, someone's got to take hold of this. You're about to lose your caboose. I mean, it's in very, very bad shape. And I think you could have even applied for some FEMA money because of damage to it. Might not have really been from the storm, but it's sitting there about ready to go to pieces. We've got all the history on that. There's a significant amount of history for Fort White. So that building needs to be the plan. I understand Main Street's coming in and putting together some kind of a plan, but it all needs to come together so that it's best practice, best utilization of the facility or the site. There were some discussions about on the east side of the building, of the train station, creating an amphitheater, with a stage, concrete, and have it where you could have some bluegrass bands and festivals and a place to meet and fix up the area around it. We got an agreement with Duke Energy because their power line actually runs right along that dirt road in the back. There was an agreement there to allow for parking, significant amount of parking for that particular site. And actually, North Florida Professional Services or Practice, it was here with Greg Bailey and his team. They were working on about a $200,000 grant under historical grant. They got denied once or twice. That's not a bad thing. It gives you the energy to go forward and project and work on the next phases of that. Primarily right now, the train station utilization is critical. If you're not careful, you're going to go in there and set something in place that you won't be able to fix depending on what the plan is going to be. And I think you mentioned earlier, Ms. Terry, coming up with a plan. You need to have an overall total plan for that facility. You need to work out a plan for the caboose. What's it going to take to repair and fix the caboose? There are a lot of small grants, $10,000, $25,000, $50,000, but these energy groups that have foundations, if you do it right through STEM, there's some potential to draw some dollars in from those, maybe some more significant, and still with the state, there's funds for a committee like Fort White. I really think you got a gem there. Fort White is a great town, even after all the crap you heard tonight. We hear tonight and we see. I live here, and of course I had my first job here in 1968 working for Dubose Hardware. I love this place. I moved from Lake City to here. Of course, I live down on the river, but my address is Fort White, Florida. So I'd like to see us rise out of the ashes and do something really good and significant. I'm going to step out here just a second, but Mr. Ford here, when he was talking about speaking to the Board of County Commissioners, worked in government for many years. The most critical thing y'all can do is get the best presentation you can before the commissioners, because I was involved with that, and the cost of those things were going to be something that they could manage it a lot better than you can. And they were agreeing and willing to do that. And remember, people that live in Fort White pay county taxes. So there's benefit to be derived from that, and your county commissioner is going to be the best person to help facilitate that for the community. You're going to have sewer at some point. You've got a big gym sitting here at Dollars, and I thought that grant was $10 million for the sewer plant.
It's like 9.8, right? Yeah, it's like gas lamp.
So anyway, that's huge. And again, when I was on the school board, we offered to give the sewer plant to Fort White for the sewer facility. We'd be your biggest customer. Nothing ever happened. So, and I really believe that Mr. Gaylord and the school board still want to get rid of that plant. So it would be a benefit for everybody. Once that second phase, I think it was going to be on the second phase, could come around, then you've lost some nice businesses and nice commercial opportunities here. We don't want to get too big too fast. We just need the right stuff. So How was that for the train station? Is that all right? I'm through. I'll come back when you're gonna, I guess you're gonna talk about Main Street next?
Yeah, and everything you said doesn't have to compete with Main Street. It's in addition to Main Street.
It's in addition to Main Street, but somebody's got to grab a hold of it and say, okay, this is our plan. And it's going to take this to get this, this to get this, and get this to get this. There's grants every year in 10, 20, 30,000 range that you're going to get because you're here. And they're being given to other entities. I'm not going to go into all of that publicly here right now, but I see it every year. So, but you have to have a plan, and you have to be willing to work with that so that those phases can happen. The neatest thing is that could be a destination point. Your train station, I mean, it's right there front and center on 27. You got thousands of people coming off the interstate to go to the East Tutney River every year. So you've got a nice piece of the historical past right there that people can enjoy and use, and especially children, making a destination point for them. If it's done right through the schools, all the schools in North Florida would visit there. It's good for commerce, good for business. Bring all these books in. So anyway, I'll
no, that's great.
I'll
Thank
be
you.
glad to work with you anyway on the Main Street too.
Thank
if you go that long.
Or anything else on that before, or did you want to?
Once again, I know we're all worn out, but I want to just stress again that this can go in relationship with Main Street rather than it's not a competition or in place of. And that the plan you're talking about needs to also incorporate growth for Fort White. What direction of growth for Fort White, rather than just say, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and then all of a sudden, there's consequences for not planning for other things.
It can be a place where the community can come together once you get it set up. That's the key.
What was your name, sir?
Go ahead, Hunter.
Hunter? Go ahead.
He's been around a while. Okay.
Thank you.
One thing Glenn highlighted there that's very important, okay, all these other, you all who have Clay Electric, you get that monthly thing that has all the trading on it, but once a quarter, I think, it's a big thing in the middle about all the grants, okay? And if you just take a look at those, and I think even there it tells you how to go after them, doesn't it? That is a source of money that could go into, I mean, I worked for this guy when we got the caboose down here, we always on that put on our back. But, I mean, nobody wanted to put in the money, and I think somebody put in their own.
WWA put in for us.
Yeah, I think somebody put in 10 grand of their own money to do it. But that is a source, okay? And so I don't know on the council, or whether you're going to give it to the town clerk to be the grant person, but, I mean, Clay Electric is just giving money all over the county, all over the Tri-County drilling.
And Swanee Valley Electric does that in Swanee County.
Well, we got a lot of Clay people here, I mean.
Yeah, I'm just saying that.
Clay and Duke, I think.
In Gainesville, they do it like if your bill is $24.59, something as simple as rounding up that dollar, that goes into the grant fund. And that little bit of change turns into a lot of money real quick.
The thing is to actually have a plan
Yes.
on paper that says these are the things that we want to do.
Anything else on this one before we go to the Main Street one?
You got a hand up back there?
So I think back in May of last year, you guys passed a CRA map, and that's a way of tapping into tax incremental financing, or the difference of the taxes. Those notices have been sent to the property appraisal, to the board, to the tax collector. That's money that we would be counting on this year, I believe, on coming in as a source of income. I believe when they did the numbers, it was $1 million or $2 million. And since May, I don't think that's been brought up. No one's followed up with the county or with the tax appraiser or with anyone. Or to my knowledge, no one has done that.
Me and the attorney have done nothing but follow up, and just flat out no response. Just flat out no.
But that's the kind of things that you need to alert us of in these meetings. Because I can't call you and say, who have you been trying to contact, in what area. But if you let us know what you're doing, and I'm going to go back to the well that caved in.
Oh, God.
All you have to do is just give a courtesy letting us know rather than us hear it on the streets. And you can't call with something like that. You may. I don't know the rules. But I know that in the past, in my past with this county, with this council, as far as really being active, is only the 9 to 10 months. But Connie acted as that liaison. And Bill, I don't know if you got emails from Connie of this is where Ronnie went and this is the information that came back and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, and I mean, so any information that I have and that I know, it's because of what ultimately came up at these town council meetings. I just went and put in time and tracked it down. Any one of us can do that. So
what you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, because you did the due diligence and the research, you're not obligated to inform us.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I think I give a lot of information at these town meetings, but I don't account for every single minute, every single piece of information. I don't know. I don't necessarily share everything.
We're asking a summary, or I'm asking a summary of what you've done. And that's because we're a team. And if it's overwhelming, just like this meeting, the commissioner meeting, if that's doesn't fit your schedule for that day, someone else can probably step up. We've got to work as a team.
I agree. Thank you. Okay, so
what they're trying to say is, if we don't know what you're doing down there, we don't know that you're down there doing it. Okay, I mean, that's all they're saying. I'm not saying you haven't put in a bunch of time. I mean, I'm not saying that you don't put in a bunch of time down there. I don't know, because I don't ride by there. I mean, I don't say I know you did. I know you was. I do know that, but we don't know what you're doing. That's why I was asking what you're planning, because that's why we need to have workshops. So we can sit down in workshop, and I'll lay flat out how I feel about everything. And if everybody does that, then we know where everybody stands. Whether you agree with it or not, I mean.
Yeah, and that's good news to me, because I'm more than willing to delegate tasks so that we can all be working on different things and moving in the same direction. I'm very willing to do that. Yeah. Okay. Main Street. Do we want to discuss that?
I think he does.
You have anything you want to say, Kathy? You want to bring it up without Doug? Because he's gone. Or you want to invite him back to the next meeting?
He wasn't here. That was his partner, Andy. He probably could have answered some of the questions.
I thought Doug was here.
Oh, I never saw Doug.
I think I seen Doug.
I never saw Doug. But my point is still that money. But I've talked to a lot of other executive directors of Main Street, and Main Street is in towns that are unincorporated. They're in towns that are growing faster than they can manage. And they're in towns that are doing very, 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 very well. I'd say that my personal number one benefit of Main Street would be their website, because they they offer the technical support of the website. I don't know if any of y'all have looked up Main Street, or looked up Hastings Main Street, or Newberry Main Street, or Valencia. What's the name of the beach? Volano Beach. Valencia College. Volano Beach. Lake City had Main Street at one time. It has a lot of good things. But again, it has to have direction, and I know the direction goes from the board of Main Street, which is separate than the town of Fort White, but we still have to be working together. I'll use the Strawberry Festival again. If we're having a Strawberry Festival on this Saturday, we've got to know that so that we can prepare as well. I'd like to see that money reimbursed some way, or I'd like to see a sponsor it, in some of these busy cities, bigger cities and busier cities, they have corporate sponsors running out the wazoo on each and every event. I'm sorry, let me just say one more thing. I'm for it. I'm against the money part of it because we don't have money. We still haven't seen all these budgets I'm asking for, but we don't have money.
Okay. Go ahead.
So my question was going to be about the money. In your research with all these Main Street programs you've been calling and asking questions about, are there alternatives to the town council giving an executive director $24,000 per year? Have you found other?
Well, it could be a combination. We give 12 and the county give 12, or we give 12, or we give 0 and Roundtree Moore give $24,000.
Could somebody just volunteer and say, I'll do it?
Yes, a philanthropist or someone who did the scratch off yesterday and hit the big one.
Yeah, could somebody in the public just say, I'll do it for free?
You have 4 officers that volunteer for free.
For the executive
No,
director?
the executive director
So you
position.
want someone to work with the town to apply for these grants, to put in all these hours, and you want them to do it for free.
No.
I mean, if somebody wanted,
I never said that.
if somebody wanted,
I did not say that, so
yeah.
listen to the words that come out of my mouth.
No. That's what Mr. Harrell said. If somebody wanted to do it for free, could they? I think so. I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Because if the town can't afford to do it, then if somebody said, I don't want the program to be lost, so I'll do it for free, then could somebody say,
I think.
I'll do that? I mean,
Every director I've talked to, including Catherine Beck, who's the head honcho of it in Tallahassee, the part-time job is anything but a part-time job. So I understand that that person needs to receive a salary. I just think it would be great if sponsors step forward and not necessarily the collective or the or Subway, because we keep draining, and I'm just saying, see your face, so I'm saying the collective, and Subway popped in my mind. We keep draining those individuals. We need to get sophisticated enough or brave enough to go to, and I'm just saying Roundtree Moore, it could be Burger King of the county. We need to build a branch out other than Fort White for financial support for Fort White. If that money can be reimbursed to the town of Fort White for sponsoring that executive director, I think that would be an ideal way. But that's an I think, and I don't know that it can be handled that way. That just prompts me for more investigation.
Okay. Did you want like a decision or a motion on Main Street? Or?
No, I mean Doug needs to be involved in it. And
Okay. Is there any, I guess that's the last item before I move on. I don't. Basically, what I'm saying is, if you have anything else, I don't want to.
I have a question.
Yeah. Go ahead. Speak. You go real quick.
Yeah, I think certainly, council. Well, we do councilman, council lady. What?
Councilwoman, I guess.
Councilperson.
Catherine, what do we call you?
Catherine's good.
You know, obviously, you've endeavored into more and more of the documents on Main Street, as I have too, and seen some of the towns that have been successful. But when someone was talking about 24,000, that wasn't director money. The 24 grand, is that what the town has to pay to become part of it?
No, that's the salary for the executive director. Yes.
Yeah, I was passing the budget last year, in September, I think. The budget voted passed unanimously, $24,000, $2,000 a month.
But it was
for the
passed
executive director.
under the condition that the council would be over the decision-making of the collective, because we're responsible.
Is there some amount of 6,000 or 8,000 that goes to be the program in Tallahassee?
I'm not sure. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. I mean, when I read some of the financial part, that's what kind of caught me. I mean, like I say, we're hurting for money, and to delve into something like that without having it in the budget.
Yeah.
You know, with all the other things you all got to put in that budget,
This is just me, but I'm saying that website alone is worth it. The Tourism Development Committee up there in Lake City, they're paying like $400,000 for the website.
Yeah.
And the website alone is worth it, but it's more than just getting people in here. We've got to know when they're coming in here, what they're coming in here for, and I'm not saying any of it would be secret. Are you on the board? Okay, I'm thinking that you're the are you the Garden for Change person, but you're not on the Main Street?
There's no official board yet. What was voted at the caboose, we nominated people, and then until you guys, because Doug did not turn in paperwork to the state to actually form the Fort White Main Street organization. So that's not been official. It hasn't been official because you cannot get clarity on the procedure that you guys want to oversee. Obviously, you're going to oversee the program because you own the property, you own the parks, you own anything that Main Street will be applying for grants or any event they have, they're going to have to get council approval. But there's no official board yet because those documents haven't been turned into the state as far as filing an actual corporate or creating a corporation.
Like a nonprofit.
A nonprofit, you have to create one. And if you want a website, you have to fund the website. The town council passed a resolution to fund the operation and 3 years of said Main Street program. But none of that has been done until you guys can get clarity on what that entails for you. Where are you going to get that money? You can get the money from the CRA money that's supposed to be coming into us once the county approves it.
And that's the key there. The county has to approve
for
it.
For events, we can get money from the Tourist Development Board. They received $2.2 million last year, and again, $2.1 million this year. That's money that's available for the entire county. That's money that, and I believe you are the council person there.
Yes.
To go ahead and ask for such events. We want to put up an event.
Yes.
You get all the porta potties can be paid through the tourist development. It doesn't have to come from the businesses. That's an event that's going to bring in tourism to the town. That's literally the
grants through the Tourism Development Committee
are done every month.
Have the
every month.
Yes, but their big thing is that they want overnight stays because the bed tax is what's really funding them.
That's what funds them, yeah.
And so, Strawberry, and I'm just saying Strawberry, it could be anything. A Strawberry Festival on Saturday the 15th is not going to be considered an overnight event. So those funds may not be available. I spoke with Rocky about getting funds from the tourist development, perhaps through another avenue. And Tim Murphy is the councilman that chairs or heads that particular committee. So it's in the works. I'm not against the Main Street, and I never have been. I'm against us putting that money up there, and I was against the way it was presented to us, because it was presented to us that we would be over it. And we don't have to have that control if we have that working partnership. It was presented that way, and it came back that we are the landlords. We are the landlords of the depot. Yes,
and the final
I know, but I mean, don't listen to my message rather than change it. I'm thinking if we can get the monies another way, or we can see that we can profit from it, then it's very manageable. The website being a separate fee, you just surprised me with that one. Because I'm all in due to that website. But now if that's a whole nother such and such amount of dollars, that is going to take from me reconsideration without knowing what those dollars are. But again, I'm not against, I never was against Main Street. If anybody was at the depot, I was dancing on the chairs in the depot because I'm in 100% support of the historical development of Fort White. One of the directors that didn't have any money, who was from Hastings, she had been at Milano for like 11 to 13 years, and it was already established, so they moved her to Hastings. She said the first and foremost thing that they did at both of those sites Hastings and Bolano and Hastings was to get people out from the community painting buildings, cleaning up.
We have the, well, I guess first,
Meaning cheap,
is there,
inexpensive.
because we've been going at this agenda item for a while, is there, I asked you, I forgot what you said, was there, like, you didn't want a motion or anything, or, it was just like an update?
Doug
like
needs to be here, and
Okay.
then now, like, do you know the cost of the website?
That depends on the size of the website, how much you're gonna put up on it, that varies. You can have a $25 website on Wix that's self-managed by someone, but how much information is going on there, it could be a Facebook page. Some of them do have Newberry doesn't have a website, it's just a Facebook page. That's free. But yeah, ideally you want to get corporate sponsors, maybe go to Duke, go to Clay.
Yeah.
But you need to have somebody that's going to, run that.
Right, well, and that would be the executive director.
Executive director.
All right,
I was the first one with the hand.
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
If this is such an important topic, this really should be a standard agenda item, and there should be a representative from that group, even if it's in a temporary stage, until you guys either kill it completely and say, don't want it. If you approve it and they start processing it forward, that party should be coming and reporting to you guys collectively, publicly, to let you all know what's going on, so you don't necessarily have control of it, but the community that you want involved is, because this is designed to make your town better, right?
Right.
And in all your research, what has been the economic impact of a Main Street program coming to a small town? Was it $10,000 a year? Was it?
Well, this will knock your socks off. Catherine Beck, who's overall in Tallahassee, was saying it's like a 30-to-1 investment reward. But it also entails the growth. We've got to consider managed growth, because if we're bringing people in, even if they're for a day, for a one-day event, we have to consider the managed growth.
But that goes back to the planning of the city and where the city's going to be in 10 years. What's your vision for the city?
Exactly.
So I just think that you guys need to make a decision first is, does this group proceed forward, or are they all go figure out something else to go volunteer and do the town with? Because right now you guys are sitting on it. Respectfully meant, because you've got a lot of research still. But this has been going on for a while.
It has.
So it should be standard. Somebody should be coming and saying the status is, blah, whatever it is. And then what they're working on, once you guys approve it, and say, hey, we want you to move forward. And maybe you can do some type of probationary thing too, where you're not dumping $24K out every month, like now. Maybe it's $2,000 a month.
That's what it is.
It's a little bit smaller every month to deal with than just $24K going out in one shot.
Yeah.
So you guys may want to be.
And yes, I'm saying 24 annually, and we had committed for 3 years, which is, I'm rounding to 75.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, we're sending that executive director to workshops and trainings in Tallahassee, so we're paying for his or her food and lodging. So it's a big deal. I think the rewards will outweigh the cost, but I think it needs to be discussed through the council and with the potential or projected board of the Main Street. What are our goals here? And this is totally unrelated, but not. Fort White, what is our festival? I'm saying Plant City has the strawberry. Now, I'm not saying we don't have one, but we need to have, what is our thing? I mean, we've got Bo Weevil, what's the weevil that knocked us all out, that killed all our pine trees? Was that the Bo Weevil?
So let me chime in. So I guess if there's no motion to be made before we just, because we could just keep going with this. Do we want to table this? Do we want, what are we going to do with this item here?
I don't think there's nothing to vote on or table.
there's
Doug
nothing
wasn't
to vote
here.
on.
So there's nothing to do.
We need to have a plan to how to incorporate that into the future plans of Fort White.
I think it
Okay, so
requires Doug.
I think it needs to, yeah. So
Could you ask Doug?
To do
do we
what?
want to move on? Yeah, we can ask that. We can ask
do
that.
what?
April 7th meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can ask.
Mayor, one additional thing on this. I like Catherine. I pulled the documents down, but Bill, Councilman Coons.
Birthday boy.
Have you pulled down the Main Street? There's about 4 or 5 different things that you can pull down. You're going to end up with about 2 inches of reading material to talk to you about what all is required, how you do it, the paybacks, how to get the grants, and how to get the monies. And that. Have you looked at those?
I've looked at some of it. I have not read it all.
How about you? Have you seen them too?
Yep.
Okay, as long as all of you online, so that when you get ready to start putting your budget together, you know what you're getting into.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, we can go over this again with Doug present. All right. Item 5. Citizen comments.
I'd like to make a suggestion to the council. When y'all are up here discussing sewer plant, Main Street, whatever, why don't y'all have a cost analysis or a financial impact statement on what it's going to cost the town, and then where the town's going to get those funds from, because we're operating on reserves, and those reserves are going way faster than they're coming in. So, everything that's talked about, we should have numbers. Just like Brian and we were talking earlier, he asked him a question. Well, the short answer is this, but he never really gives an exact figure. But over here, before the meeting, he told me that year 1, Fort White would have to start saving a couple $100,000 for that sewage. So it ain't just a couple $100,000 to operate it. It's going to be a couple $100,000 in addition. So do a cost analysis or financial statement or whatever, and then how much is it going to cost town? Where's town going to get it from? And if it's going to come from the citizens, what it's going to cost every household or whatever. Then that way, even you, I know you're the one that's reluctant to, go to the county for help with the sewer, but, present it. Present your case that the town should do it because of this reason here.
Yeah.
It's going to cost everybody $100 a month to flush your toilets, and we're going to have an ad valorem tax, and that ain't even going to cover, so we got to do a sales tax. Then we need to know that, and then.
Yeah, and I don't disagree, and I'm not reluctant. Like I say, I've called all the county commissioners and tried to work with them on other issues. I'm not reluctant. I just, like you say, I don't have the information right now. I haven't done that analysis.
Right.
Any other citizen comments? Council member comments?
I'm just glad we're moving forward. I'm glad we have these extra meetings.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're on the right track. We can get this way overnight. It ain't going to fix overnight.
And Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
If we're going to have a meeting on April 7th, I know you have said that you have some applications for this position. I would suggest that you, if they haven't already been, distribute those to the other council members, have them distributed to the other council members, invite those people to come to the April 7th meeting and speak, and you guys could hire someone on April 7th. That way, if nothing else, they could start at our regular April meeting. So if you're going to put an extra meeting in, then hire them at this upcoming meeting. There's plenty of time for the council members to evaluate them. If they want the job, they need to come here and present like, normal. And you guys hire one, and then by the time the regular meeting in April starts, they could pick it right up.
Yep, I agree, and that was my goal. That's the main reason I wanted to do another meeting, was to get that attorney so that you have some leeway from now to the.
Yeah.
Hopefully you won't have to be here on the time. But yeah, that was really my main purpose for the second meeing, is the attorney, because that we want to. I think we all want to just get that right. I got like I got 2. I don't know if we might. We'll probably get a 3rd. And I don't know if we'll get a 4th, maybe, but I'm thinking we'll get at least a 3rd bid.
I think we need to end this pretty quick so you can send them out like he's saying.
Yeah,
we ended the other council members 2 weeks before.
I don't disagree.
Is that right?
I do not disagree. Yeah, I agree.
And we don't have, 3 weeks before the.
I think so.
So could we maybe give them another week to get it in?
Well, I say we give them, yes, at least another week, but I say up until the week prior to the, if it, to me, if it makes it into the agenda packet and they present some form of a bid, I think we should consider it. What were you going to say, Councilwoman Mears?
Is the April 7th meeting for special agenda items only and not for?
No, it's a regular, because there might be a couple other things.
Additional meeting.
Yeah, because we have so many topics. Instead of doing 3.5-hour meetings, I figure let's just do maybe if we need them 2 a month, a little bit shorter. Yeah, because. All right.
And I think this is talking about the same stuff, but Bill, I think, has been on the council when they did have to do that before. They'd have like 2 or 3, 4 meetings a month until they got through a busy stack of agenda items.
Okay.
And we get it all going smooth and then let it ride.
All right. Motion to adjourn. Floor is open.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Hey.
Meeting adjourned. It don't matter. You outvoted.